Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has inheritance and legacy in Dragon Ball. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by the ADVENT91 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Naruto Uzumaki Saga. Start. Outside of the village within the forests of the leaf training within a small training field he took up for himself was a 15-year-old Naruto Uzumaki, adorning black hair like that similar to a great hero, a legend so many ages ago. His hair was black sticking up in different directions, wildly having small amounts of streaks blonde colored hair within inheriting it from his father's side, the same with his eyebrows being only black, sky blue colored eyes along with fair skin, while adorning just barely noticeable whisker-like markings upon the sides of his cheeks. If you wanted to see if he really had those markings upon his cheeks, you would have to walk up close face to see them actually there because at a distance it would look like they were not present. If you thought that he was a shrimp, then you were dead wrong as he stood at a height of 168 centimeters equal to that of Sasuke Uchiha, the rookie of the year currently at the Leaf Ninja Academy. Diverting away from his physical description now comes the attire he wore upon his form. He did not wear some orange jumpsuit that said aloud over here come kill me because I am that obsessed with orange so much. He looked to wear what looked a similar shirt to that what the Uchiha clan used to wear with those mid-tall collars, but instead of his being black, his was a dark crimson red color shirt like the color of blood, and the same could be said with the color of his pants, having on a pair of blue ninja sandals. In fact, since he had a sort of V that was parted open, it showed off the dark blue shirt he looked to wearing underneath it. As for accessories he seemed to only wear two things, and that was the short blue sash he seemed to wear around his waist like a belt, along with wearing blue fingerless gloves, with the color orange upon the knuckles of the gloves. Look upon his back and you would see what almost looks to be a sort of dragon wrapped up like a snake with the head of the dragon in center, and the thing is it looks almost like Shenron. Now thank God these colors that he wore were not as bright as normal red and blue, but these colors he wore were much darker versions of the individual colors, but the only bright red color he had upon his cloths was the Z upon the back of the collar of his shirt, just for show, as well as an epic nod to Dragon Ball Z. That dark blue sash he wore he wished to replace with that of the leaf headband, to be tied around his waist, and he couldn't wait for that day. What was he doing out here in the middle of the leaf's forests all by himself besides to evade all the cold stares he got from most of the villagers? He was doing what he did best in order to get stronger and stronger, and that was training. Naruto right now was standing in the middle of the clearing of the surrounding trees around him performing a series of punches and kicks, and all with his shirt, sandals and gloves off with his blue shirt that he wore underneath, covering the upper form of his body. He continued throwing different variations of punches and kicks, turning in different directions, trying to be as fast as possible. It was not only in strict martial arts he trained himself in, but also in that of ninjutsu of course, such as having already mastered the following techniques being the clone, transformation, substitution and the body flicker, but it was also required to have a jutsu other than one taught at the academy to pass. This was a difficult one for Naruto seeing as he didn't have a jutsu to learn like Sasuke knowing the fireball like the many members of his clan back then when they were still alive. It can be any jutsu only one that was a jutsu not taught to them from the academy, like for instance the water clone, if one wanted only you better get it down to the mark or else you still fail. Naruto did not have any family members to learn a jutsu from, and he couldn't just go up and ask anyone to teach him a jutsu, most did not appreciate his existence because of him being the container of the nine tails. He finished off his exercise throwing a punch, and as he did the grass below him parted a little from a small strong wind, to which Naruto was unaware came from him. He looked up into the clear sky with a sad expression to closing his eyes as the wind blew past his face blowing his hair as well. It's not fair Naruto said to himself as he walked toward the tree that had his garments laying aside as well as the one weapon he had experience with. Lying against the bark of the tree was what looked to be a staff only one that was made out of strong bamboo to which he had a small brown sheath for. All he had to do was sheath the staff behind his back within the little sort of sack, tighten the belt around the sack securing the staff itself, and finally just ring the sheathed weapon upon his back that would be in a diagonal direction. If you were wondering where he got the staff it was not from the inside of a store, but really something he obtained from nature outside of the village. It was strong and durable, but with a strong enough blow it would break. When he first began using the staff he didn't have experience with one at all but self-taught himself anyway, with his level being on a just below average level, but with the right teacher his skill in wielding the staff can be masterful. He sat against the bark of the tree grabbing his sandals, first putting them on followed by his gloves and then his shirt, to finally reaching out his right hand grasping around his staff as he sat Indian style. His grip around the weapon tightens as he looked upon the grass trying to think of some way to learn a new jutsu, but nothing came to mind. He suddenly stood up with now having an angry look upon his face, and in frustration, he suddenly turned smacking the side of the tree with his staff. Damn it, and I only have a week from now," he said, spinning the staff, putting it away. His fist suddenly punches forward, hitting the bark of the tree, putting a dent of his knuckles within it and shaking the tree just barely. Did the tree just shake? He readies himself, going into a stance before the bark of the tree, taking in a deep breath to punching his fist forward into the tree, but it did not shake at all this time. Must just be my imagination then. With a sigh, he turns around, walking away, trying to come up with some way to learn a new technique. What am I supposed to do? As he walked away, if he stayed a little longer, then he would have saw the crack make its presence known where he delivered his punch. Naruto had hidden potential inside of him, potential he was unaware of that only needed to be awakened through the proper training, the power of a powerful warrior race that he was completely unaware, and one that was long forgotten for many years now, like a distant memory that can't even be recalled. If he was to unlock this hidden potential of his, then he was going to need help or awaken it himself some way somehow. If he had expanded his senses, then he would have felt the presence of someone watching him, and it was no ninja of his village, as the individual wore a tannish gray cloak with his face, the lower half of his face wrapped in hood overhead. Whoever this individual was, he had his green-colored eyes narrowed upon the boy that was walking away, intending on returning within the walls of his village. "So this is your son, huh?" The cloaked man lands before the tree that Naruto punched and examined its bark, citing the crack that appeared after Naruto punched it. The man brought up his hand, gliding his fingers over the crack, taking note of the width and its size. He may have failed to notice, but I did see the tree shake. He looked up, taking note of the height of the tree being a tall one. For one to deliver a single punch and make a tree of this size shudder is formidable feat even to an elite-level ninja. Sure, perhaps the Leaf's master of Taijutsu can accomplish this as well, but someone like him would have to put some level of effort in it, but this boy here, when he punched the tree, it looked as if he didn't put any effort into it at all. I didn't detect a trace of chakra in that punch either. He too took notice of the grass that blew below and before Naruto's feet. This boy, Naruto Uzumaki, is a special one. He has power within him, one that is sleeping that thirsts to be awakened. Even I could see that, but he fails to even notice. The cloaked man vanishes from his position to pursue after the boy. Naruto finds himself walking through the village once again, with villagers walking past him, either ignoring him or either giving him a cold stare. He paid no attention to it, as he would one day become the leader of the village, and from there they would have no choice but to acknowledge him and respect him as the Hokage. However, in order to take his first step toward that dream, that goal was to first graduate and become an official ninja of the Hidden Leaf Village. As he was walking through the village, he was still completely unaware that he was being followed by the cloaked man, who stuck to the shadows as he moved about the streets, and all doing so while watching Naruto with a critical eye. He knew all about the boy's burden carrying the nine-tailed demon fox, as well as the results afterwards cursed with such a burden, and it even made the cloaked man wonder just what exactly he was thinking of putting such a heavy burden upon the boy. "Who is that?" the cloaked man asked, none other than himself. He saw Naruto now standing in the middle of the street before Chunin-ranked ninja from the academy, seeing the ninja have a scar across his nose. He doesn't seem to be a threat to the boy. I don't sense any ill will from him. "What's up, Iruka-sensei?" Naruto greeted. "Well, I won't be your sensei for long, knowing you, Naruto. I'm sure you will pass the graduation exam, no problem." "Yeah, no problem at all," Naruto said as he gives out a nervous chuckle. The boy may know all the required learned techniques from the academy itself, but he has yet to learn a different jutsu other than from the academy, and he's got 8 days to do it. The cloaked man thought as he watched the interaction between a smiling Iruka and a nervous chuckling Naruto, who was scratching the back of his head. "So where are you off to, Naruto? Do want to get some ramen?" "Thanks for the offer, but I am off to train again," Naruto said. "It's amazing how devoted you are to your training, Naruto, and out of all the people that I know train as hard as you, all I can think of is Guy," Iruka said, to which Naruto chuckled at. "In fact, it scares me," Iruka thought. "Well, I don't want to keep you from your training, Naruto. Thanks. Good luck." Naruto soon came to arriving upon his intended destination while he was making his way to his home, but he wasn't going home, but instead to the academy training field that was just outside of the Leaf Academy itself. This field was surrounded by a gate in a square formation, where inside there were dummies set up for the students of the academy to practice their skill and further perfect throwing shuriken and kunai, practice dummies to practice your hand-to-hand skills against, a small area where you can go to improve your chakra control, and finally there being an area for 2 students wanted to spar against one another. Everything was here for the academy students if they wanted to go somewhere close by to train on the fundamentals, besides just going out to the training fields. Places like training fields were areas more for training in secret or to keep others away from harm, depending on what type of training you are doing. Naruto came here sometimes, but that was because of the Sasuke fangirl club, which he personally refers to all of them as. Naruto didn't hate the girls or anything just because they liked Sasuke and talked down on him just to impress him. They were just being girls with a crush. It was nothing for Naruto to make a big deal out of, so he was not going to do any harm, but if they said something that was totally unnecessary, then he would retort verbally. All the girls were definitely here sitting on the benches watching Sasuke train and admiring him while having their own secret individual fantasies about him. Every time they took sight of Naruto they would sometimes just ignore him pretending that he wasn't on the field, or they would talk down on him thinking that it would impress Sasuke. It doesn't at all, not one bit, as it did not make him see any of them with interest or differently. Hopefully this was one of those days that they just ignore him completely, leaving him alone, but sadly for him, it didn't look like that it was going to be that way. As soon as he pushed open the gate door letting him into the training field, Ino, being one of the girls having been sitting down watching Sasuke, heard Naruto opening the gate door, grabbing her attention, narrowing her eyes upon the orphan who entered into the field. Sasuke is so great, he will definitely become a Super Saiyan, you can just tell by looking at him. He is determined. Ino said as she watched Sasuke. That, and he is from the Uchiha clan. One of the girls of the group said. Yes, the legend of the legendary Super Saiyan. It was a legend that has been told upon these lands for many years now. All believed they had what it takes to become a Super Saiyan, which they believed was a level someone reached when surpassing their true limits into new heights of power. It was said to be so great, so powerful that the one who became this Super Saiyan would be like that of a god. One that was unbeatable and unsurpassable. No one knows who started the legend of the Super Saiyan, but it was obviously possibly within the era of the clan wars and possibly during the times of both Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju. So far no one to anyone's knowledge has become this Super Saiyan, even when they didn't know what possible signs there were to tell if you were a Super Saiyan or what one would look like, so they assumed it was a newfound strength of power described godlike. In fact, this legend had a large part to play amongst the whole ninja world that has been training them in order to become such a powerful warrior. It motivated them throughout the years to get stronger, but they were all still completely oblivious that it was futile for any normal human. Do you think they would actually look at the title Super Saiyan and take the word Saiyan into account? Returning to the situation at hand away from the legend of the legendary Super Saiyan, Ino finally grabs the attention of the other girls as she asks one question, being that of Naruto's arrival and presence. What is he doing here? Ino asked not only herself but the other girls around her. What is Uzumaki doing back here? Doesn't he know that his presence is annoying to everyone here? Another random girl amongst the group asked. He always keeps coming back thinking he can come in here whenever he pleases, thinking he can stand on the same ground as Sasuke. Hasn't he realized yet that this is the field of real ninja? Ino said. Let's just ignore him. Sakura said, honestly not wanting to bother Naruto and not wanting to get him in any unnecessary predicament. Okay, so even though she sometimes found Naruto annoying at times, but she didn't see him all that bad. From what everyone's parents say, he is bad person and not one to be around, but Sakura didn't see that at all. She only saw a boy that kept to himself, causing no trouble at all. Except a prank he would pull off time to time, which to some she honestly laughed at. She basically did not want any trouble to be started, seeing as she didn't understand how Naruto's presence on the field would affect Sasuke in any way. In fact, she and Naruto were friends, nobody didn't see it, is all. She didn't want him getting into an unnecessary predicament. That is why right now she is trying to convince everyone to just leave him alone. I mean, as long as he doesn't get in Sasuke's way, that is okay, right? Oh, listen to yourself, Sakura. I thought you found him annoying and dislike him as much as we do. Didn't you parents tell you how much of a bad person he was? Yes, Ino, but to be honest I don't see anything bad about him at all. What, do you like him? No, it's not that. Then what is it, forehead? All I am saying is to just ignore him and leave him alone. Are you defending him? Sakura didn't say a word. Come on, girls. Ino said aloud as she stood up. Let's go take care of this, while Sakura can just stay behind defending the loser. The group of girls stood up walking toward Naruto's direction, with Sakura standing up afterwards. Wait a second. Sakura said aloud, trying to stop them. The cloaked man that has been following Naruto was just standing right outside the other side of the large gate wall, watching Naruto fighting against a practice dummy in hand to hand. The cloaked man was just right there, really not that far away from Naruto, standing about 20 yards away watching with a critical eye. All he strives to get stronger, train more, to better himself, and if my predictions are correct, he perhaps enjoys fighting as well. So far he has not only demonstrated but also shown all the traits. His true power is within. One that he has not realized he has or learned to bring out yet, he just needs the proper training and right push. The cloaked man thought. His gaze then caught the sight of the group of girls coming Naruto's way. Well, either he is very popular with the ladies or this is trouble. Naruto. Naruto stops what he was doing after ducking under the wooden arm that swung toward him, threatening to hit his head. The crouched Naruto brings up his right forearm, blocking the wooden arm that was at a lower level of the practice dummy, as he looked over his left shoulder, seeing Ino along with a group of girls behind her. Just my luck, one of those days again, Naruto thought. He saw Sakura standing away from the group looking on. At least Sakura is not as bad as Ino and the others, good for her. I don't want any trouble. There wouldn't be any trouble if you never walked in here in the first place. Ino said. Naruto sighs in annoyance as he just continues practicing against the wooden dummy, doing his best to ignore Ino. Don't ignore me. Hey. Why do you have to make such a big deal out of this, Ino? Sakura asked herself as she stood away watching from afar. Naruto, did you not hear me? Ino asked aloud, angry. Naruto continued to ignore her. You just don't understand that here only ones that have what it takes to be real ninja can train here. It's basically only the strong that train here. Why don't you just go and eat at that stupid ramen bar or something? Naruto continued on, ignoring her best he could. Better yet, why don't you just go home to your parents or something? Oh, hold a second, that's right, you don't have any, do you? That is when it happened as Naruto's right fist suddenly shot forward, punching the top half of the dummy into pieces off as the pieces of wood scattering through the air before him to dropping on the concrete. This did not go unnoticed by Ino and the girls, of course, as their eyes were wide in complete shock, and even other kids amongst the academy training field were looking as well with the same look in their eyes. Sasuke Uchiha was looking at Naruto, wondering how he did that, as well as with interest, and not the kind of looking with interest in a weird wrong way. All in all, the whole field of kids was speechless, but the cloaked man standing right outside the field had eyes that if you looked in them made you think he liked what he saw. There it is again, the cloaked man said. No chakra was in that punch at all. Naruto turned to Ino and the group of girls having an angry and upset expression. Ino, that was unnecessary. Sakura from her position said aloud. Was that really called for, Ino? Naruto asked. Ino did not answer him as he noticed that her eyes and attention was focused on something else, entirely confusing Naruto. It made Naruto raise an eyebrow in question as he looked over his shoulder and his eyes widen at what he was seeing. The dummy he was practicing against was destroyed and in pieces on the ground, with only the bottom half still standing. Naruto was in total shock himself as he brought up his right hand, turning his gaze upon it. And he doesn't even realize it, the cloaked man said within his thoughts. Did I just do this? Naruto asked himself, turning his form and gaze upon the destruction he wreaked upon the dummy. Hey, how did you do that? A random boy that was an academy student asked him aloud. Don't know. Naruto honestly replied as he looked upon his hand, once again making it into a fist. How did I do that? To be able to punch something like even a wooden dummy to pieces for any normal person would take many months of training, but Naruto here does it like it was nothing at all. Something triggered Naruto's true strength to surface up for that one moment to perform this feat, but what was it? The strive to become stronger, the love of training, quite the large appetite, and now this. I only need to see one more thing to truly know if he is one or not, and that is the love to fight. The cloaked man thought. How did you do that, Naruto? Naruto turned to the voice, seeing Sasuke, who was curious to know. Sasuke. Naruto turned to Sasuke. He and Sasuke were maybe somewhat like rivals. I didn't feel any chakra coming from you with that punch, so how did you do it? Sasuke said as he looked upon the damage. I honestly don't know how I did it. You honestly don't know, or you just don't want to tell me? I don't know, Sasuke. Naruto said, narrowing his eyes, not liking where this was going. How do you do something that you don't realize you just did? You either just don't want to share anything or are that bad of a liar. I don't know, and even if I did know, why makes you think I should tell you or anyone else? Besides, part of being a ninja is keeping secrets, even if it's from your own allies. But you're not a ninja yet. Sasuke said, narrowing his eyes as well. Neither are you. I think I know where this is heading. The cloaked man thought as he watched on. Just tell him, Naruto, and stop being so greedy. Ino demanded. What the hell? Naruto said, giving Ino that look that said, you got to be kidding me, really? Look. Tell you what, Naruto, how about a little match? Sasuke suggested. What? You heard me. If I beat you, then you tell me how you did that. And what's in it for me if I win? I'll teach you a jutsu. You would teach me a jutsu? Naruto asked, surprised at this sort of deal. Correct, but you would have to beat me. Naruto then grew a smile, liking this deal. Sasuke was of the Uchiha clan, and if Naruto won, then perhaps he would learn a jutsu from within the clan itself. That sounds like a fair deal. Alright then, Sasuke, I accept your challenge. Good. Sasuke replied with a smirk. I can sense it radiating off of him. The excitement, this is the love of battle. The cloaked man thought as he watched Naruto walk with Sasuke toward the small arena. Soon Naruto and Sasuke were standing across from one another, with most of the academy students sitting in the bleachers, with a small amount of them standing aside to watch up close, with the Sasuke fan club standing aside cheering. Their cheering only annoyed Sasuke, whose right eye twitched, finding them annoying. Not that he hated them so much he wanted them dead, but found them so annoying, and even Naruto noticed this, feeling somewhat sorry for Sasuke. You remember our deal, right? Sasuke asked. Yeah. Naruto said, going into his usual stance. That stance is just pitiful. Already I can see multiple openings to attack. Then again, he has been training within an academy after all. For now, let us see what you can do, Naruto. The cloaked man thought. The fight between Sasuke and Naruto begins with the supposed last of the Uchiha clan dashing forward with Naruto staying within position as Sasuke closed in on him. What Sasuke found odd was that this time Naruto was not rushing into battle like before in their previous fight with Sasuke having been the victor that time. The Uchiha closed in holding his right arm down to his lower right as he closed in, and upon reaching striking distance, he began throwing multiple punches and kicks, to which Naruto began dodging the best he could as he backed away while Sasuke came forward. Naruto moving his head left and right evading the punches and kicks or simply blocking them with his forearms, and Sasuke seeing Naruto doing all this took note that he was better than their last fight having been many months ago. Sasuke leaps up into the air, turning his form to delivering the bottom of his right foot that was meant for Naruto's face that should have hit seeing as he was faster, but to Sasuke's surprise, Naruto's forearms came up into an X blocking the strike, to which surprised Sasuke obviously. Sasuke can even see the small smirk Naruto wore as Sasuke used Naruto as a kicking stone, flipping himself backwards through the air landing a distance away from Naruto, and as soon as he did, he immediately dashed toward Naruto with chakra assisting him in his increased speed. As he closed in on Naruto who still stood in the same position from the beginning of the fight, Naruto brought his arms down lowering his guard, leaving himself wide open for attack. Once again when reaching striking distance Sasuke throws a right fist that was chakra enhanced and was sure that it would hit Naruto in the face, but once again Naruto dodged motioning his head to his left evading the strike, leaving an opening for Naruto to strike. Naruto was going to strike right after Sasuke missed, but the Uchiha seemed to have a sort of second wind as his speed increased managing to turn his form to delivering a kick across Naruto's face, sending him off his feet falling back. Sasuke landing upon one foot while still having his right leg out as Naruto was descending down to ground level. Ino and the girls cheered thinking that Naruto was down for the count, but it is immediately silenced as Naruto recovers himself flipping himself backwards, landing upon a single knee with his head lowered. "Oh yeah you go Sasuke." Ino cheered along with the other girls. Was the only sound the cloaked man made as he watched Naruto then took notice of Sasuke. Sasuke lowered his right foot to the ground and even shook it a little as for some reason, whenever he kicked Naruto across the face, it sort of hurt but just a little. It was odd to Sasuke seeing as in their last fight this had never happened. Was it perhaps him with something happening to his body, such as getting sick or perhaps of all the training he had done most of his time? "Ready to give up, Naruto?" Sasuke asked. Naruto began slowly lifting up his head and Sasuke's eyes slightly widened in confusion, somewhat surprise and shock at the same time at what he was seeing. "What? Would you look at that there is not a single scratch on him?" the cloaked man said as he watched on. Through as Naruto was looking towards Sasuke and there was no sign within the area on his face, he was kicked across even having a single scratch. Not even any sign of bruising was present on his face that slowly grew a smile. Sasuke was confused as he remembered delivering this level strength behind a kick to Naruto in a previous fight and he remembered very vividly Naruto having signs of damage, but now he didn't see not one bit. It looked as if Naruto was never harmed at all, even though Naruto still felt the blow of Sasuke's kick. Now that kick that Sasuke delivered was not that of his full strength if that is what you were thinking. "What just happened?" Sasuke asked himself. "Are you surprised, Sasuke?" Naruto asked as he stood up almost as if nothing happened even though it did. "My training has been paying off." Naruto thought. "You have improved a little." Sasuke said. "Even a little can change a lot of things Sasuke can even on the battlefield. Don't be so smug Naruto you have no chance of beating me just like you didn't have a chance before. Look who's talking. You two are being smug. You still have yet to even hit me once. Don't worry Sasuke it's coming really soon. Your definition of soon is more like years Naruto. More like right now." Naruto suddenly leaped through the air towards Sasuke with the assistance of chakra having been focused to his right foot. Sasuke seeing Naruto reach him rearing back his right hand was going to counter by striking Naruto in his chest and when he counters intending to strike Naruto with his left fist, Naruto was quick enough to catch the top of his left arm, flipping himself up and over Sasuke's arm to his right being Sasuke's left. Naruto maneuvered quickly enough to confuse Sasuke long enough as he landed to immediately quickly turning around throwing a right kick this time into the right side of Sasuke's face. Sasuke was now the one being sent off his feet twirling horizontally within the air from Naruto's kick, who was now standing upon his left foot holding his right leg out to his left. Sasuke managed to recover himself landing upon the concrete safely on his feet while sliding back a little upon his feet until he came to a stop. "No way did that just happen?" Ino asked as she and the other girls looked confused. "Naruto actually hit Sasuke. I don't believe it." Sakura thought. "That had to have been nothing but a fluke." Ino told herself. Sasuke rose up standing tall once again looking across to Naruto, who brings his leg down looking across to Sasuke as well, with the Uchiha bringing up his left hand, giving the right side of his cheek a rub from Naruto's strong blow that was going to bruise, but it would be one that would barely be noticeable. One thing was for sure, and Sasuke knew that Naruto has gotten stronger since their last fight. Well done Naruto. The cloaked man thought. Shikamaru, wake up. Choji asked, shaking the lazy-to-be ninja who lay upon the bleachers asleep. What is it this time, Choji? Naruto and Sasuke are fighting. What else is new? So what? Naruto hit Sasuke. Shikamaru wakes up as he sits up looking toward the area of battle before them. Are you serious, Choji? Yeah man, everyone saw it. Sasuke hit Naruto first, but then Naruto came right back hitting him back. You should have seen it. Someone actually landed a blow on Sasuke and Naruto of all people. Shikamaru said as he looked on watching as Naruto and Sasuke stare across from one another. I was surprised too, and when Sasuke hit Naruto the first time it didn't look like he left a scratch on Naruto. Is that right? Shikamaru asked, now interested seeing how things play out. The rookie of the year has finally suffered a blow. He thought as Sasuke still had his hand upon his right cheek looking across to Naruto, now more determined to beat Naruto, not taking him lightly now. In the days of the academy Sasuke was known as the rookie of the year, who had also not suffered a single blow from his sparring partners in the ring, but finally he has suffered his first blow. Not even someone like Kiba was even able to put a single strike on Sasuke when the two went in the ring. Speaking of Kiba, he was sitting on the bleachers as well, flabbergasted, seeing as how Naruto of all people hit Sasuke, and Kiba was hoping that it would have been him, and he even began hearing what other students that were watching saying. He hit Sasuke. I don't believe it. How did he do it? Was it luck? Naruto is faster than he was before. Did he use a jutsu or something? Do you think he is as strong as Sasuke now to be able to land a blow on him? From all the gossip I am hearing, it seems that Naruto has grown ever stronger and growing stronger the more he fights, even when coming back from an attack. He is stronger than he was before and faster from what I am also hearing. Whatever doesn't kill him only makes him stronger. The cloaked man thought, and even though you couldn't see it he had a smile on his elderly face. Still think I don't have much of a chance against you, Sasuke. Maybe now you could throw all of that arrogance of yours away. You have gotten stronger, I will admit that Naruto. Sasuke said, bringing his hand down from his cheek. But now things start for real. I am going to finish this. Let's go then, Sasuke. There will be no finishing anything here. A familiar voice said aloud. Landing between the two of them, putting an end to the fight, was none other than Iruka, who has an upset look upon his face. Iruka-sensei? Naruto addressed. You're interrupting out spar, Iruka-sensei. Sasuke said. You called that a spar? This was no spar, but a fight until one was down for the count, either dead or sent to the hospital. Black and blue. True, it was, even though Naruto or Sasuke never had any intention of killing one another, but maybe beat one another. Black and blue. A spar was something like getting the first punch on your opponent, but not really hitting them, calling an end to the spar, this being a spar to academy standards. Imagine if Naruto had his fist before Sasuke's face, but not really hitting, showing that he would have delivered the finishing blow. The spar would have been called with Naruto as the victor. Of course there was no victor today in this so-called spar. You two are going to become Leaf Ninja if you pass the graduation exam. You will become comrades, and comrades don't spar like this. Naruto, I thought you were merely going to train, not start a fight. No one started anything. Sasuke said, grabbing Iruka's gaze. I challenged Naruto to a match because I wanted to see how much stronger he had become. He was free to accept my challenge or not. This was somewhat true because when he saw the results of Naruto's punch, he did not just want to learn how Naruto did it, but was also curious to how much stronger Naruto was. I accepted the challenge. Naruto replied. Can I ask you why, Naruto? Iruka asked. Well, both Sasuke and I are somewhat rivals, but I also wanted to test the results of my training and Naruto smiled. I like to fight. You like to fight? I can't explain it, but I do. It's like it's a part of me, Iruka-sensei. So are you telling me that you would rush into any fight when the opportunity of one arises? Not blindly of course, but if it all means to defend my home and people, then yes. Iruka's eye widened at what Naruto just said, but seconds afterwards he couldn't help but have a small smile come upon his face. Alright you two, I will let this slide, but don't do it again, you hear me? Yes. Both Naruto and Sasuke said as they looked upon one another with fire in their eyes. Iruka of course noticed this, and even though he told them not to do it again, he had a feeling that they were not going to listen. There are other things to worry about, such as your upcoming graduation exam in 8 days, put that on your minds, instead of wanted to beat one another to a pulp, okay? That goes to all of you. He said aloud to the other students, reminding them of the upcoming exam in 8 days, and then Iruka was gone with a body flicker, leaving Naruto and Sasuke to look upon one another. Naruto. Sasuke. This is not over. We are going to finish our little spar. I don't think you heard Iruka properly. Who said that it has to be in the village? What are you saying? I want to fight you again without interruption 7 days from now, before the day of the graduation exam, you hear me? I hear you. Sasuke turned his back. I am going to train, so until then, Naruto, I expect that you will do the same. Naruto turned his back. When and where? The third training ground, so be there by 8 in the afternoon sharp. If you don't show up then I don't blame you. See you in 7 days, Sasuke. Both Naruto and Sasuke began walking away, not looking back at one another, Sasuke about to pass up the fan club of girls with Ino up front. Don't worry Sasuke, you're all annoying. Sasuke said, passing them up, not sparing them even a glance, with the girls holding their heads down. Meanwhile Naruto was heading toward the gate door he entered into the field from to leave until. Nice work there Naruto. The voice coming from a familiar lazy ninja said. Naruto stopped in his tracks as Shikamaru, Choji, and even Kiba landed before his path. What do you want? Naruto asked. You do know that you are the only one out of the entire academy that has landed a blow on Sasuke, right? And this is important to me because, well, for one, word is going to go all around the academy. Next thing you know you will be having other students challenging you, or worse. What's the worst part? Try having one of those. Shikamaru said, pointing in the direction of the Sasuke fan club that were all just told by Sasuke they were all annoying. You got a point there, I almost feel sorry for Sasuke. Naruto said. How did you do it? Kiba suddenly asked. Who what punched that thing to pieces? Naruto asked, referring to the wooden dummy to which some students were around examined. In fact, there were already some trying to do the same thing Naruto did with little success. How about that, and how you were able to land a hit on Sasuke? What jutsu did you use? First of all, I have no idea how I did that, and second, I never used any jutsu against Sasuke. Is it really that hard for you, Kiba, to believe that I landed a blow on Sasuke? It is, since you are the lowest within the class. I don't know about that. Naruto replied. How did you do it? Kiba asked, almost on the verge of shouting. Alright, I'll tell you, Naruto said as Kiba listened and wanting to know, and Naruto answered with a smile. I do push-ups, sit-ups, and drink lots of pumpkin juice. Don't you clown around with me, Naruto. How about until you stop being so paranoid and jealous? Who said I was paranoid and jealous? How about since you began interrogating me? Go train somewhere, stop if you feel you're ready, find Sasuke, and hit him if you can. Kiba only growled at him. So what did Sasuke tell you? Shikamaru asked. I beg pardon. I can tell you and Sasuke were talking, so what was it about? Nothing important, but an exchange of hateful words, that's all. Why do I get the feeling you're lying? Kiba asked. And if I am, what business of what I and Sasuke were talking about is it any of yours? Kiba once again growled. Look, I have to go. Don't mind us. Shikamaru said as Naruto walked past them, leaving. Naruto exits off of the academy training field, now back on the streets of the village, heading in the direction of his home. The fight between him and Sasuke was out of his head, and now he had two things to worry about, one being that he had to learn a new jutsu in order to pass the academy, and the other with his match against Sasuke before the day of the graduation exam. As he was walking the street under the evening orange sky, he came upon an area that was under construction with no human activity within it. Most people chose avoid this area, but you can still go right through it, just be careful not to mess anything up. An interesting fight, that was Naruto Uzumaki. A male voice said aloud. Naruto stopped, immediately turning around looking for the source of the voice. Up here. Naruto looked up, seeing the cloaked man standing upon the tallest beam of a building under construction, looking down upon him as his cloak blows in the wind with his arms crossed upon his chest. Your fight against Sasuke Uchiha was interesting, but it was not great. You were still sloppy. Sloppy? Naruto repeated, narrowing his eyes upon the man above. Yes, sloppy like your stance. I saw many points of opportunity to attack, breaking through your guard, and if Sasuke knew, he would have defeated you with ease, and not only that, but you had the arrogance to bring down your guard in the middle of a fight. Sloppy. The cloaked man said aloud as he looked down upon Naruto on the street below. Who the hell are you? Who am I? I am one that sees great potential in you, Naruto Uzumaki. Inside you, your true strength has yet to be awakened, and you are completely oblivious to it. If harnessed and used properly, you can win against your fight with Sasuke in next coming 7 days. How do you know about that? Naruto asked, surprised. I have sharp hearing. Are you a leaf ninja or perhaps an outside enemy to our village? I am neither. Then who are you? Show me what you can do, and if you can impress me, then I will reveal myself to you. You asked for it. Naruto leaped up into the air toward his target, giving out a battle cry with his right fist reared back, and when he came above to looking down upon his target, he threw his punch, but only to hit air, surprising him as he lands upon the beam the cloaked man was standing upon. Naruto almost lost his balance as he waves his arms and prevents himself from falling to looking around for the cloaked man. So fast. Naruto thought, looking around with his eyes. Where did he go? Your guard is down. Naruto is kicked upon the left side of his face by the cloaked man, who seemed to have appeared out of nowhere, as the kick sent Naruto off his feet from the beam, shooting toward another that was for the corner of the building being constructed. Naruto flips himself backwards rapidly until he feels his feet land against the vertical beam, and he leaps back toward the cloaked man, who just stood where he originally stood. Naruto throws his punch only to once again hit nothing but air as the cloaked man evaded by leaping backwards away, landing upon another construction site within the building on its top floor that had no built roofing above and Naruto landing before him. You were too busy searching for me with nothing but your eyes when you should have been using your senses. That's sloppy. Shut up. Naruto shouted as he ran toward the cloaked man. Naruto assaulted the cloaked man throwing punches and kicks as the cloaked man simply evades or block all of his attacks, with the both of them circling one another, and as they did he began to scold yet again. You're attacking blind with anger. Anger clouds one's eyes and leads to one's. He slapped one of Naruto punches away to delivering his right fists into Naruto's stomach, making him lose his breath to feet. Naruto backs away falling to his knees with one hand upon his stomach as the other was upon the wooden floor to keep him. Sloppy. The cloaked man said as he looked down upon Naruto. Damn you. Don't tell me that this is your limit, are you giving up? Naruto's eyes shoot open as he looks up to the cloaked man. Never. Then rise. Show me that you can rise. Naruto did rise but with some difficulty. That punch was powerful. He is fast and this guy is strong. Now come. The cloaked man said going into his own stance and it was one that showed almost no weak points within. Naruto attacks once again but this time he was not making as much errors during the beginning of this fight. His punches and kicks were being evaded and blocked, but he was more focused and concentrated, no longer clouded by anger. Not only that but as the cloaked man evaded he noticed that Naruto's strikes were faster than before and already he had evaded 4 close calls from 2 kicks and punches directed for his face. He is faster than he was before in his attacks. It was now the cloaked man's turn to attack as he strikes with a flurry of punches to which Naruto begins to evade as he backed away, the boy focused and determined to win this fight. Suddenly Naruto yells aloud as he leaps up performing a spinning kick spinning around in a complete 360, delivering his left foot into the right forearm of the cloaked man's arm that was meant for his face. However, upon blocking Naruto's kick with a force and sort of wind coming out of the attack afterward, Naruto's hair slightly blowing as well as the man's cloak, the man was sent skidding off to the right upon his feet about 5 feet away, Naruto landing upon his feet facing the man going into his stance with a growl following afterwards. The cloaked man in the meantime still had his forearm up that felt sore while looking off to the right to Naruto and he was now impressed but he didn't show it or perhaps that had something to do with his face all cover. As Naruto was looking upon the man he finally realized what just happened seeing how far he sent the man skidding across the wooden floor and his face was now one of surprise once again wondering how he did that. Like I said, the cloaked man said grabbing Naruto's attention once again you have strength you never realized you had and it is only waiting for you to reach out and take grasp of it. You have great potential, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto was giving the man a confused look taking notice of the change of atmosphere from the man. You have impressed me and so I shall introduce myself as promised. With a yell the man threw off his cloak and a figure leaped up into the air, landing upon a higher building that was also still undergoing construction. The beam he landed upon was actually the ridge of the roof which has yet to be constructed as well. The cloak seems to block Naruto's view, but when it gets out of the way Naruto finally takes side upon the man that had assaulted him. The man seemed to have long gray hair he let flow freely with a mustache below and above his lips, brown eyes, and looked to be wearing a traditional outfit of that of a master of Taijutsu, with the outfit being mostly purple, as well as adorning red armor plating upon his left arm all the way up to his shoulder. To top it all off he even looked to wear a long black headband tied around his forehead that stretched past his mid-back level, and all with having a symbol upon the headband which was one Naruto did not recognize. I am known as the master of Taijutsu all over the world. I am Master Zen. Master of Taijutsu? Yes, there is no one in the world that surpasses me in the field of hand-to-hand. Why did you attack me? Zen suddenly appeared before him showing off his speed to Naruto once again who was impressed. I had to see your skill firsthand and like I said I noticed the true potential within you. True potential? Yes, but you failed to even realize it you had it all this time. You just don't know how to bring it out, to use it. Naruto looked upon his own hands. A hidden potential that I have always had, but I have been training a lot, so how could I have not gotten a grasp of it if I had it all this time? Merely performing punches and kicks, throwing around little toys, and running laps isn't going to do you any good to help take a grasp of your power. It may help but more is required for you need only the proper training. Proper training? Are you here to offer me this training? I am going to be honest with you boy for I have been watching you for some time now. I watched you seeing you train out in those woods. Your determination and hard work is admirable, but you are still lacking in some fields. For instance your stance having openings, you're below average level in the staff, as well as opportunity to further improve your study in martial arts. Why me? He only hums to himself before replying. Let's just say that you are special Naruto. I already got a lot on my plate right now. I need to learn a new jutsu, and not to mention prepare myself for my battle against Sasuke. I will tell you this right now, Naruto, you may have shown you have what it takes to beat Sasuke, but at your current level you will not beat him in 7 days. If you want to learn a new technique, then that is fine with me. You know jutsu? I have something far better than having you learn a new technique in mind. What if I refuse? Then that is your choice. But let me say that I guarantee you that after the next 6 days of the training I have to offer, you will have accomplished both of your current goals. Having the knowledge of a new jutsu and most of all defeating Sasuke Uchiha, this I promise. The decision is yours, and should you choose to accept, I take you up as my pupil and I as your master. There was silence between the two as Naruto was thinking. If I accept, I become your pupil and you my master? Naruto asked, receiving a nod. When I become a ninja, I am going to be assigned to a team as well as a sensei. Won't there be an issue? There is nothing wrong with having 2 teachers, Naruto. You can come to me whenever you can. I would be crazy to refuse this old guy. He is strong, and that's for sure, stronger than me, and who knows what he can teach me. If what he says is true about me, then how can I refuse? Well, what's your answer? Naruto had made a decision. When do we begin, Zen-sensei? Zen smiled. We will begin tomorrow at early light. That's going to be a problem. Why is that? I have the academy. Don't you worry about that, I will take care of it. You will? Naruto asked, receiving a nod. Are you up to the challenge for the next 5 days? Yes. Naruto said with determination to succeed in his eyes. Good. Now do me one favor. Yes. Don't call me sensei, it makes me feel old. But you are. Zen's left eye began to twitch. Okay then, Master Zen. Be prepared, Naruto, I will not go easy on you. Master Zen said as he turned away, vanishing. Don't worry about a time or place, I will find you. Chapter 2. Prologue Part 2. School of Master Zen. Naruto was in his apartment, resting in his bed, just minding his own business, enjoying the current dream he was having. Right now in his dream he was standing across a field with Sasuke falling to a knee in defeat by none other than Naruto, who had his arms crossed over his chest, adorning a smile with closed eyes. How can this be? Sasuke asked in total disbelief. What's wrong, Sasuke? Am I too much for you? Naruto asked. How did you become this powerful? Silly Sasuke, a ninja never reveals his secrets. Naruto says with a smile as he brings his hands upon his hips. Guess I am the top dog now. Naruto. A female voice called, and he turns to the voice, seeing it was Sakura. Hey there, Sakura. She ran into Naruto's arms with him having an arm around her waist, as she had her arms wrapped around his form, laying her head against his chest, Naruto wearing a smug smile. Naruto, you are so amazing. I told you all I would become the best, didn't I? Naruto said. You are so cool. Ino's voice said aloud, and soon Naruto found his other arm being held close to by Ino. Oh, Ino. Even though he had his problems with Ino in real life, she was still pretty like Sakura, and they were girls since he was a guy, so he liked this dream. Naruto, go out with us. Both in union asked, with Naruto adorning a huge blush upon his cheeks. Both of you? Please? Both asked. Well, what can I say? Both of them laid their heads against him, once again giving out happy sighs. This dream was getting better and better, but a tall figure grows behind Naruto like the size of a skyscraper, creating a shadow that comes to overcoming Naruto himself, who looks over his shoulder. Naruto's eyes then shot wide open, seeing who it was looking down upon him with his arms crossed over his chest. It was none other than Master Zen. Your guard is down. Huh? Naruto asked with wide eyes of horror. Naruto screams aloud as water seems to take up his vision. Naruto is seen within his bed, wriggling about, waving his arms and kicking legs as a bucket of seeming to never end pouring water upon his face by none other than Master Zen, and the water doesn't seem to stop. When the water finally came to a stop, Naruto shot up, sitting upon his now wet bed, taking in a deep breath as Master Zen, with cloak present upon his body again, by Naruto's bedside, holding an empty wooden pail of water. Was it? Get up, you fool, it is time to start your training. What the hell was that all about? The wet-headed Naruto demanded, clearly displeased, who was now standing upon his bed with slightly bent knees with legs apart. Is this how you treat your students? Fool, you only have yourself to blame, that's what happens when you let your guard down. Master Zen said. During my sleep, are you crazy? Naruto then calmed a little, but only a little, as Master Zen growled. And look at this. Naruto yelled with his hands aiming down to his bed, as if he were presenting something great. I have a wet bed because of you. You knew what you were signing up for, so stop complaining, and I don't want to hear any more of it, understand? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know waterlogging your students up was part of the brochure. Naruto calms himself a little bit more while taking in a deep breath. What time is it anyway? He looks to the cloak and his eyes widen at the time. 4 in the morning. No complaining. Master Zen demanded as the wooden pail was smacked down upon Naruto's that breaks into pieces. We find both Naruto and Master Zen now standing within Naruto's own personal training ground that was outside of the village with the still dark sky above, but it was still morning. Naruto was looking across the Master Zen, sporting an angry look with his right eye twitching as he had a somewhat bump present upon his head, the master standing across from Naruto with crossed arms over his chest with closed eyes, making him sound as if thinking. Is smashing a wooden pail upon the heads of your students a part of your training as well? Naruto asked. Be grateful that it was a wooden pail and not one made out of brick. That's how my previous master awoke in the start of my training. Naruto paled at that, not wanting to experience while having a slightly agape mouth as he asked, seriously? Master Zen's previous master must have been worse than Master Zen himself. It made Naruto wonder what Master Zen's previous master uses to wake him up. He however did not want to know, pushing it aside from his thoughts. So what are we going to train in today? Naruto asked excited. Are you going to teach me a new jutsu? How about a special kind of taijutsu combat exercise? Or maybe some special training to have me move as fast as you? Oh, trust me, it's all special training. Master Zen said, growing a small smirk. Normally one would go through fundamental training first, but since you have been attending the academy, you have learned the necessary skills required, so there is no need. There are 6 parts of training, being early, mid, and end morning training with early, mid-afternoon and evening training afterwards. Also, you are not to have chakra assist you in any way in this training, understand? Are you ready to begin? Yes, master. Naruto said, going into his fighting stance. You talk the talk, but let's see you walk the walk. Minutes later, Naruto is seen jogging with Master Zen on a dirt road, taking in breaths as he jogs with sweat going down his brow. Master Zen didn't seem to be fazed at all, and they have not even reached running around halfway around the village. Since the village didn't exactly have a complete wall going around it, since the Hokage mountain was upon the south side of the village, you would have to assume that once they reached the other end of the wall, they would have to run back where they started. Don't slack off and keep moving. This is training. What did I tell you about complain? Minutes later we find Master Zen having reached the end of the wall on the other side of the village, stopping and jogging in place as he waited for Naruto to catch up. Naruto is seen jogging at a much slower pace, taking in deep breaths while at the same time feeling salvation as they reach the other side and end of the wall. So tired, Naruto said as he finally reached Master Zen's position, but the man immediately turned around jogging away and said, now we go back. Naruto was frozen in place in horror as it seemed like one of those moments where he was looking into a mirror, reflecting the look upon his face before shattering to pieces. "Ooh!" Naruto yelled in his thoughts as he falls forward, hitting the dirt. "Move it, you fool." Master Zen's voice scolded out to him aloud. Naruto is back on the dirt road jogging, trying to keep up with Master Zen, who was a little ways ahead of him right now, and so far they have been at this jogging for more than an hour, and it was in fact nearing 6 in the morning with the sunrise almost near. Naruto was already exhausted, wet from the sweat that has been going down his face. He may have a lot of chakra and all, but he was not like that Might guy who was a stamina freak that did over 100 laps and hundreds of push-ups. Finally, Naruto can see the end of the wall, which is where they both started from, and a sense of salvation once again came upon Naruto's face, ever so present. He just thought, almost there and I can get a breather and maybe some water, as he held his hand out. Master Zen reached the end jogging in place once again with Naruto getting ever so closer and closer, and when finally reaching the end. Now back to the village gates and through the village. Master Zen said, turning around jogging back as Naruto inwardly cried, preventing himself from falling forward, turning around and following after Master Zen. Is this worth it? At the village gates, watching them like they always do, was Izumo and Kitetsu, bored like always and giving out yawns. As they continued to watch over the gate, they both saw an old man jogging through inside the village down the road. Who is that? Izumo asked. You never have seen him before? Kitetsu asked. No. I looks to be keeping himself in shape for someone his age. If there is even one thing that doesn't matter in this crazy world we live in, it's one's age, no matter how old he or she is. Izumo said. You said it. Kitetsu agreed. That is when they both took notice of Naruto jogging and seeing his exhausted condition covered in sweat while taking in breaths, trying not fall over and just give up. Hey Naruto. Izumo greeted as both his and Kitetsu's eyes followed after the boy. Hey guys, bye guys. Naruto said as he passed them up, following after Master Zen through the village. Wow, look at him go. Kitetsu said as they kept their eyes glued on Naruto. Is he jogging with the old guy or is it just coincidence? Finally, Master Zen had reached his destination, coming to a stop before it being what looked to be a milk depository, no longer jogging in place, arms crossed over his chest as he waited for Naruto. You finally stopped. Naruto said, and when coming to a stop next to Master Zen, he doesn't care as he lets himself fall forward, hitting the brick road fatigued. No shame. Is it over? He asked in a muffled voice as his face was in the ground. Far from it, Master Zen said. Naruto made a whining noise. You got to be kidding me. Get your face out of the ground and look what's in front of you. Naruto only lifted his face, looking ahead, seeing what Master Zen and he were before, and it was a milk depository. Milk? Naruto said as he stood himself up. I won't complain, I'm thirsty," he said, running forward with his hands held out, but Master Zen grabbed the back of his shirt's collar, making Naruto fall on his butt, the boy looking over his shoulder at his teacher confused. "Who said that it was for you? Are kidding me? What else reason would we come here besides at least quenching my thirst? What did I say about?" Master Zen pulled out a random wooden pail from nowhere, swinging it down upon Naruto, whose eyes were wide in horror, again complaining. The pail smashing over Naruto's head, erupting into pieces. Naruto's teeth clenched, shown off to the world as the small amount of forming tears were in the corners of his eyes, but he would not let them flow. Naruto then let himself fall forward while still sitting up as another lump seemed to grow upon his head within that hair of his somewhere, and if you looked at Naruto's eyes, you would see swirling lines within them. "Now listen up for the final phase of your early morning training." "Sure, whatever you say," Naruto said, still dazed. "Have some dignity and sit up." Naruto did as told. "You see those?" Master Zen asked as he pointed to many stacked boxes of milk, ready for anyone to take them. "I see them and I have to assume they are not for us, right? You are to deliver milk to every person within and outside the village, and you are to do so before 7 at breakfast time. If you don't make it in time, you won't be getting none." How to describe Naruto's face? It looked something like this. Oh, that's impossible. There is no way one can do this in 1 hour. Then you better get started then. Now move. Master Zen yelled with a sort of big head jutsu at work down upon Naruto, whose hair blew from Master Zen's yell. Seconds later, Naruto is seen running down the street carrying up to about 6 stacks of milk, trying to keep them balanced and pray to God that he doesn't drop a single one. Master Zen watched as Naruto ran away with speed, leaving behind a smoke trail, as a smile came upon Zen's face. "I'll give him this, he sure doesn't give up." But in the home of Kakashi Haddock, the man wakes up from his nap with mask on. He sits up, giving a sigh of relief with closed eyes as the sun shinned through his window, the birds outside upon a nearby tree chirping in song. The copy ninja yawned while stretching his arms out. "That was a great sleep, the best I have had for a while too." Kakashi walks into his kitchen humming a song that sounded like "Chala head chala." The man made himself some eggs, flipping them over from one side to the other when needed to be. The man moments later finds himself sitting down at his table with 2 well-cooked eggs, 3 strips of bacon, along with 2 pieces of breakfast sausage. That is when he took notice that his glass was empty, realizing that he had nothing to drink besides orange juice. But he did not just drink orange juice, but also his milk that was delivered every day, most of the time being a little late. "Let's see if it's even here yet," Kakashi said as he walked to his door. "I may have to warm my plate up by the time I get back." Kakashi opened his front door with glass in hand, and when he looked down, oh would you look at that. There his daily delivered milk was sitting right there waiting for him to take. "It's on time," he said, picking it up. Even though it was on time, he began to wonder how it was on time, but he saw his answer when he looked further down the street to his left, seeing a familiar boy zipping from one door to another, placing down milk in record time, and doing so getting further and further away from Kakashi's vision, but he did notice who it was. Was that Naruto Uzumaki? Kakashi looked back upon his milk, seeing the cartoons having a cow on the back. He shook them and said with a smile behind his mask, "Moo." No one knows how he did, but somehow he had managed doing it all within 30 minutes, even going as far as delivering milk to some guy that actually lived somewhere atop the Hokage mountain. Seriously, he never knew anybody lived up there, and he had been up there on more than one occasion. Now here he was sitting in the center of the leaf square, having a goofy Goku-like smile upon his face, sweat all over, 6 empty and surprisingly heavy boxes of milk around him, with few early morning villagers walking past him either ignoring or giving him cold stares. He didn't care at the moment. "I did it. Breakfast, here I come." Master Zen's laugh could be heard. "You think so, do you?" Naruto looked up to his right, seeing Master Zen standing atop a utility pole. "Master Zen, what's so funny? I delivered it all." "Look again." Master Zen said, pointing down upon one of the so-called empty boxes. Naruto turned his head to the box and saw one remaining. "How did I miss that?" Naruto yelled within his thoughts. "You have not yet completed your given task and you're that much closer to failing. But there is nowhere else to deliver milk to." "Oh no, you are greatly mistaken, Naruto. There is one destination you have yet to reach outside the village." "Outside village where?" Master Zen smiled and said, "The Zareth training ground." Once again Naruto felt like shattering glass, knowing how it was a wildlife preserve filled with dangerous animals, as well as knowing that it was the previous grounds of the Chunin exams. It was that more dangerous than even then training ground 44, the Forest of Death. "You got to be joking. You know where it is, so get there quickly, you fool," Master Zen said, vanishing. Naruto quickly got up, picking up the milk, running, leaving the box behind until, "And don't forget the box." Master Zen's voice echoed aloud, making Naruto stop. "Wah, the box." Naruto ran back, placing the milk in the box, now running with the milk inside the surprisingly heavy box, once again leaving behind a trail of smoke in his wake. Naruto minutes later found himself before the outside gates of the Zeref training ground, and by his calculations, he probably only had 20 minutes to make it. Never did he know that anyone was inside or where the reservist was inside the training ground. Your target location is within the center of the training ground. Master Zen's voice said aloud. Naruto searched around, but he didn't find Master Zen anywhere, but only heard his voice. Where are you? Go. Naruto ran forward, leaping up and over the gate, landing on the other side, running through the forest blindly. He figured that if he ran straight he would make it to the center right. It was not all easy as Naruto traversed through with all speed, and boy, you wouldn't believe the ridiculous things he went through, including life-threatening ones. One, he had to watch out for plants as some may be poisonous. He even came upon a log bridge going across a rapid flowing river that he had to balance his way across with a ridiculous heavy box carrying the milk. Traverse going over small mountains that were not those holy crap high ones you would see in the skies. The worst out of them all is when he found himself traversing across an open grassland field, and he had a good feeling that he was getting closer to his goal. He figured that maybe his target location was behind those lines of trees on the other side of the field. I have a good feeling about this, Naruto said with a smile upon his face, his cloths having small tears here and there, as well as some dirt upon his face. I'm going to make it. Large paws ran upon the grass field within the training ground, looking to be rapidly running toward a target accompanied with a growl. Naruto heard something thanks to his sharp hearing, asking himself what that approaching noise was. He looked over his shoulder and his eyes widened in horror once again. Oh my, it was a tiger that meows aloud, closing in on Naruto, wanting to feast on him as its starting meal for the day. Good. If you were standing from a distance it would look absolutely funny seeing the figure of Naruto running across the field screaming in horror with a cat on his tail. Please don't eat me. Naruto reached a tree line, running through it with the tiger still on his tail, not bothering to look back at the approaching threat. When Naruto came running out through some bushes, he would have slammed face first into the gate that surrounded the house, which was a station, if he didn't leap up and over the gate. The tiger slamming into the gate, receiving a small jolt, making it back off, Naruto landing on the other side going into a tumble. Naruto comes to a stop from his tumble, now sitting on his butt before the steps going up to the porch of the wildlife preserve station, his face blank, his hair messy. He was more dirty than he was before as the tiger roared aloud at him from the other side, and the milk still seemed okay somehow. Looking at the station, he also took notice of a radio tower so as to make contact to the village. I did it. Naruto stood up to his feet, slumped over, not caring if he looked presentable or not, going up the steps, bringing one foot and then the other. At last, once coming upon the porch, he walks to the door and once again falls forward flat on his face with a box of milk out in front of him. Footsteps are then heard and the door opened. Naruto looks up, seeing it be this woman who wore a green ninja vest, adorning those red markings upon her cheeks like Kiba did. It was none other than Hana Inuzuka, who was looking down upon him confused. Naruto Uzumaki. Here is your milk, lady. Oh, thank you, Hana said, reaching down, pulling the delivery out of the box, with Naruto giving a sigh of relief. I am sure that others that come by here will appreciate seeing milk in the fridge every morning. If you don't mind me asking, what time is it? Naruto asked as he stood up. Hana looked over her shoulder upon the mounted clock within the building and answered at 6:57. Yahoo! Naruto cheered aloud, leaping in joy. I made it. I made it. I made it. I made it right on time. Haha. Did you go through a tornado or something? No, I came right through the grounds, Naruto said while still leaping around in joy. Why would you do that if you could have just come through the front down the safe path? Once again Naruto's face turned as he was now frozen in place. He looked to Hana. I'm sorry, I thought I heard you say front and safe path. Hana simply pointed to her left, to which Naruto slowly turned his head in the direction of, and there it was, a safe path leading straight to the real front entrance and exit of the Zeref training ground. I am sure you can imagine the look on Naruto's face as he looked on in total silence and shock, frozen in place. Are you okay? What happens next is Naruto falling back upon the porch with his legs up in the air, with a confused Hana watching, wondering what was going on. Walking out of the front entrance of the Zeref training ground was Naruto, dragging the box that held the milks, and then that is when he heard his laugh once again. Master Zen can now be seen standing atop the fence line of the surrounding gate of the training grounds, with an right eye twitching Naruto below. Looks like you were able to make it in time with 3 minutes spare. Next time aim for more. I was chased by a tiger, Naruto said in a low tone as he turned around, looking up to Master Zen. Seeing you here before me tells me you were able to outrun it. You failed to mention me getting chased by a tiger was part of this training. Naruto then threw the object in hand up at Master Zen, spinning toward the man like a frisbee, but the man simply leaps up in the air, vanishing. Where did he go now? Master Zen appeared behind Naruto, slamming another wooden bucket upon Naruto's head with catwood yell. The middle day morning training commenced, and this one took place outside of the village, and thankfully it did not involve him being chased by a tiger. Thank goodness for that. Instead Naruto found himself standing with Master Zen with a farmer right next to them, looking upon a field of dirt where the farmer would plant crops, but it was not plowed yet. "Hey, are we eating breakfast here or something, and is this guy joining us, Master Zen?" Naruto asked, confused at the situation, for he was hungry. "Forgive me, Naruto, but there is one more task you must complete and then it's breakfast." What was the whole thing about getting breakfast after delivering the milk all about? A lie. It was to motivate you, and look where it got you. I got you this far, did it? Okay, so what do I have to do? This is middle day morning training, Naruto. What is? This farmer here was kind enough to let us use his field to help in your training, and he is counting on you to get it done in time so he may plant his crops and to do it well too. At what done in time and do what well? I need you to plow this field. The farmer asked. By myself. By yourself. Master Zen confirmed. No problem. Naruto said, determined for breakfast and to move on into this crazy training. Just give me the right tools and I'll get started right away. There is a catch, Naruto. What do you mean catch? You must plow the field but with nothing but your bare hands. Okay, I'm sorry, but that is just ridiculous. There is no way anyone can plow a field with just their hands alone. Not true. In times of war such as within the Great Ninja Wars, when tools were not presentable whenever needed to plant crops for food near base camps, ninja used their hands to plow fields. That is just improvising. Naruto countered. Not to mention, I am sure there were lots of guys helping out in the work. There is no way I can do this alone. I was able to plow a field 5 times this field size when training under my previous master. Master Zen said. I am sure you can do as well as anyone else that has the right heart and mind, and you are one of them. You really think I can do this? I do. Now go and get ready. Alright, Naruto said as he ran to the area where he would have to start. Are you sure he will get it done? The farmer asked. If you are having any doubts, watch and you will see. Master Zen said as he saw Naruto was in position. You already have the necessary tools, Naruto, and it is all you need. Focus. Well, here I go. Naruto began to plow through the dirt with his hands, and he was plowing well, moving forward but at a below average pace, which was something that the farmer was not looking pleased with. As Naruto plowed, he can already begin to feel his hands hurt, and when he finished one row of plowing through the dirt, he brought up his hands, looking upon them. His hands already started to feel like they were on fire, so much that he wanted to close his eyes as hard as he can to block out the pain as best as he could, but he was not going to give up. Even though they began to hurt, Naruto began to plow the next row of dirt, and although that the farmer can see that Naruto's determination was admirable, the boy's speed was lacking. He is going to have to move a lot faster so I can plant the crops in time. You're right, he needs a boost. Master Zen said. Not something to bribe him with such as breakfast or morale, but something else. He needs something to give him positive attitude. Then he got it, calling out to Naruto, grabbing his attention as the boy stopped barely near halfway done with the second row, and he also blew on his hands. Do not think upon the negativities of this part of training and focus only on the positive. Positive? Yes, having negative attitude can just as well affect your training, giving you drawbacks, but if you block it out with positive sense of mind, you can not only finish this training on time and move on to the next phase, but you can do anything. Anything. Naruto repeated the word in his mind as his hands closed into fists. I can do this. Then do it, Naruto. Alright, let's get this done. Naruto said aloud with determination. The farmer was impressed with what he saw next, as Master Zen's wise words seemed to work, as Naruto seemed to have gotten a second wind. The boy was now plowing faster than he did before, already finished with the second row, and already began with the third, plowing, and plowing. Naruto was moving faster than even the normal farmer would in plowing, even faster than him. Wow, look at him go. With the right positive mind, one's training can produce positive results. Can I ask you something, Mr. Zen? Why are you helping the boy, training him? I am completely aware of his burden, but you should not judge a book by its cover. I know what you mean by that. I for one respected the fourth's wishes, unlike most of the village. Yes, Naruto Uzumaki is indeed a hero, the hero who saved the Leaf Village. It was now 8 in the morning as both Naruto and Master Zen were at an outside restaurant within the village, a dirty clothed Naruto sitting across from Master Zen, eating his much deserved breakfast, with now having 3 bumps among his head somewhere within that forest of hair. As Naruto was dogging down his food, Master Zen was within his thoughts, not having any breakfast, not feeling hungry, and no, it was not because of Naruto's table manners, but of his progress. He has lasted this long where most have just given it up before, and even after the second phase of this training. Let's see how well you do, Naruto. Master Zen then took notice that Naruto had finished his entire plate, saying, done and more please. The old master just chuckled at this, seeing as Naruto had a huge appetite as well. However, they would soon have to resume the training starting at 7:30 sharp, but even with this on mind, he decided to ask Naruto a question. Naruto, what is your main goal in life? Huh? Do you have a main goal, a dream? You bet I do. Oh? I plan to become my village's next Hokage. I plan to become a ninja legend, the strongest of them all. I see, and why is it that you wish to become this village's next Hokage? So that I can get the respect I deserve, so the whole village will stop looking down on me. When I become Hokage, the whole village has no choice but to respect me. Believe it. You do know what a Hokage is besides being the strongest of his village, do you? He is someone that is willing to die for sake of not just his village, but more importantly his people. Naruto responded with a smile. I can see the same determination in those eyes like I did his. Master Zen thought. I am sure that it will be a momentous day for you, Naruto. I have confidence that you will achieve your dream. You think so? That depends on you. Will you become Hokage? You bet I will. Are you ready for the next phase of your training? Yeah, let's do it. Naruto said aloud with no shame. The ending of the morning training took place atop the roof of the academy itself, as we find Naruto sitting cross-legged on the roof with Master Zen sitting across from him. Now in this part of the training it focuses on the mind. The mind, does this mean we are going to be reading out of books and stuff? Correct, and not only that, but you will also learn how to fight smart. Training the mind is just as important as training the body, with literacy being a great assistance in this phase of the training. Master Zen said as he tossed a book to Naruto with having a blank cover on the front and back. The master pulled out his very own copy. Now turn to page 46 and begin from the top, please. As much as Naruto hated reading, he had no choice, and so turn to page 46 and begin to read from the top. He sat there on his chair within his living room watching TV alone, wondering what he had done until there was a knock at his front door. He stood up from his chair, walking to his door, opening it up to none other than her, seeing the sad smile upon her face, the eyes of wanderlust. Naruto raised an eyebrow at this as Master Zen, noticing his pause, cleared his throat as if there was something stuck within his throat. Go on. What are you doing here, he asked, and she replied, I need you now more than ever. I can't stop thinking about you. I see you in my dreams of ecstasy. Naruto had that look upon his face. Continue. He right then and there apologized with all his heart for the cruel things he had said, pulling her inside his apartment, taking her to his bedroom, throwing her on his bed, and proceeded to St. Okay, now was the time to question it. What the hell am I reading? It's nothing, Naruto, continue. Master Zen urged as he had his face hidden behind his copy. Hold on a second. Naruto said as he began reading more on the page, and his face began to turn red at what he was reading. Is this porn? Of course not, Naruto, don't be such a fool. Rip. Naruto ripped off the cover, seeing the real cover hidden underneath, which caused Naruto to twitch his right eye, seeing what Master Zen was making him read. I knew it. You perverted old man, this is one of those pervert make-out paradise porn books. It's not porn, it is a romance novel. This is a part of training. Do you get away with tricking the young reading this smut, disgusting perverted old man? The familiar sound of a wooden bucket echoes aloud as birds fly away from the commotion. And morning training had passed, and now was a time of rest as Naruto and Master Zen can be seen resting against the opposite sides of a tree somewhere in the park near the path. Naruto was enjoying this moment of rest, feeling the wind blowing past his face, his hair with closed eyes, Master Zen doing the same. To be honest, Naruto had never done something like this, sitting down and relaxing. In fact, he was into it so much that a butterfly came resting upon his nose, with Master Zen having a chirping bird coming down resting upon his shoulder. I honestly have never really done this before, Naruto told himself again. Taking the time to sit down, relax, and enjoy the peace and quiet. I can't believe I am actually saying this, but it is kind of nice. Rest is also a crucial part of training the body and mind. One mustn't riskily proceed on without letting the body have a time of rest, but that is entirely your choice to make depending on your situation. Master Zen spoke wisely. Noted, Naruto said as he continued to relax. Master Zen. Yes. You could have given me a warning about how messy this training was going to be, and I would have come in different cloths. Next time do so then if you wish. Right. It was that time of the day when the students left the academy for 30 minutes because it was 12, and that means lunchtime. They were able to go anywhere in the village eating whatever they brought with them, or not eat anything at all if they didn't want to, but just so long as they report back into class by 12:30 all was good. Walking through the area of the park was Sakura and Sasuke, with Sakura trying to at least talk to Sasuke, but the Uchiha just continued to ignore her. So Sasuke, what did you think about today's lesson? Sakura asked. Sasuke didn't reply. Did you see how Ino was trying to grab your attention so badly? What is up with that, right? No reply once again, and Sakura was getting a little irritated, seeing as she was at least trying to strike up conversation with Sasuke. Yeah, she may have a crush on him and all, but when it came to trying to strike a conversation, well, you know. If only she knew of the things in his mind. The massacre of his entire clan by his older brother, the years of loneliness within his life so far, as well as his ambition, the death of his brother and vengeance for his clan. So they mentioned your great ancestor Madara Uchiha. What did you think of that? It must be fascinating being from such a powerful clan with so much history behind it. Once again Sakura received no reply. Man, what is Sasuke's problem? He is good looking and all, but he is a real mood killer. All he does is keeping to himself, blocking everyone out in the world. She thought. She then decided to ask another question that she thought he would not care about either. So Naruto was not in class today. I know. That surprised Sakura, seeing as Sasuke finally gave an answer, and what was weird is that it regarded Naruto. Why do you think he didn't show up to class today? Beats me. Maybe he was too scared to see you. I doubt that. Naruto doesn't seem to be scared of anything. Well, that wasn't exactly true. If only he knew about the tiger that jazzed Naruto through the Zeref training ground. What do you think he is doing now? Sasuke narrowed his eyes, remembering their fight yesterday and the words they exchanged as well as the date of their fight. Probably training, Sasuke said, having stopped in his tracks, making Sakura stop as well, looking back at him confused. I need to get stronger if I want to beat Naruto and him. Beat Naruto, but Iruka-sensei said. I don't care what he said. I am wasting my time here sitting around in a classroom listening to the pointless history about past battles, ninja, clans, and bloodlines. That stuff can be learned later. What is more important is getting stronger. Sasuke. She looked away from his for a second, citing a familiar someone they were talking about. Well, Sasuke, I don't think Naruto is training at all. What are you, psychic? Sakura turned around facing Sasuke, narrowed her eyes upon him while crossing her arms over her chest. Of course not. Then how would you know? Because, Sasuke, Naruto is right over there. Sakura said, pointing off to her right in a direction Sasuke looked off to, and Sasuke saw Naruto resting against a tree. Master Zen can't be seen since he was on the other side. Looks like he is sleeping, and what has been doing, playing in the mud. Playing in the mud, yeah right, that would be a waste of his time. Sasuke thought, narrowing his eyes upon Naruto. Sasuke, seeing all the small tears within Naruto's outfit and dirt, told him that Naruto was doing something besides playing in mud or dirt. Naruto was training, and even Sasuke can't see that. Sakura, looking upon Naruto, seeing him resting against the tree with a butterfly on his nose adorning a smile on face, and it honestly to her made Naruto look cute, making her chuckle. Look at that, he's so peaceful. She chuckled to herself, I can't believe that I think Naruto looks cute right now. That is when she finally noticed Sasuke walking toward Naruto's direction, already halfway there. Oh no, what is Sasuke up to? Sasuke came to a stop right before Naruto, looking down upon the sleeping Naruto, and to confirm that Naruto was sleeping, he can hear the light snore coming from Naruto. Sasuke was unaware that Master Zen was sitting on the other side of the tree, aware of Sasuke's presence, keeping a sharp on him, even though he couldn't see through the tree, but more on the lines of keeping a good sense on him, so to say. As Master Zen sat there, he could sense the hatred within Sasuke, and it was powerful. In fact, he had never sensed this much hatred from anyone for a long time now, and this is how he knew that it was Sasuke in front of Naruto. Master Zen was not going to attack unless Sasuke tried anything on Naruto, who was currently resting, which was a much needed one since he earned it. As Sasuke looked down upon Naruto, he could not help but remember their battle from yesterday, how Naruto was able to hit him for the first time when everyone else within the academy failed to do so. His hands turned into fists, and Master Zen on the other side of the tree narrows his eyes, but then moments later Sasuke's fists are no longer clenched as he turns around, walking away. Not yet, in time, in 5 days I'll repay him, and I'll win. He is one to watch out for, Master Zen thought. Sasuke rejoined Sakura on the path as he looked back over his shoulder at the slumbering Naruto. Sasuke, are you okay? Sakura asked, only to receive no reply as usual. Hey Sasuke. Kiba's voice called out to him. What could he want? Sasuke wondered as he turned his gaze upon the approaching Kiba, along with Hinata Hyuga, approaching both her and Sakura. What do you want, Kiba? If it's another match, don't bother unless you want to eat the dirt again. Arrogant son of a. It's not that I am arrogant, just that I know. What could you and Sakura be doing out here? Kiba asked, looking between the two. Don't tell me that you actually got him to go out with you. Kiba asked Sakura. Well, Sakura said with a smile. No. Sasuke immediately said. Then why are you two out here? Kiba asked, and then his gaze caught the sleeping Naruto off to his left. It's Naruto. Hinata said. Kiba glared at Naruto, and then seeing his sleeping form as well as guard down, he grew a smirk as he said, it sure is. What are you up to, Kiba? Sakura asked. Nothing much, Kiba said while looking around for something on the ground. Don't, Kiba. Sakura, Kiba, and Hinata were surprised who it was that said for him to not do whatever he was going to do, and it was coming from none other than Sasuke. The Uchiha was looking at Kiba with that look he always seemed to wear every single day, his face alone telling Kiba not to do it. What's with you? Kiba asked as he found what he was looking for, reaching down, picking it up. Kiba, don't do that. Sakura said, seeing the rock in Kiba's hand, who was tossing it up and down. What? You're going to throw a rock at Naruto, and while he is asleep? How old are you, by the way? Sakura asked. What is with the both of you? Since when did you defend Naruto like this, though you two hated him? Whoever said either of us hated Naruto? Sakura asked. We don't hate Naruto just because he is there and because of what other people say about him. Kiba, please don't do it. Hinata asked. What purpose would this serve you? Sasuke asked. Call it a test of his skills, Kiba said with a smile. You're going to use that as an excuse? Sakura asked. Really Kiba, we know he trains a lot like Sasuke, but just because he doesn't mean he is going to be able to stop a rock while in his sleep. That's just crazy. Put the rock down Kiba and go find something more productive to do with the time you have, like stuffing your face. Sasuke said. Kiba gave Sasuke that glare as he looked between all three of them, telling him not to do it. Okay fine, Kiba said, making them think he meant what he said until he said aloud psych. Kiba threw the rock toward the sleeping Naruto's direction that closed in on him, and at first Kiba thought it was going to hit its target until the rock suddenly vanished before hitting its mark. This confused Sasuke, Sakura, Kiba and Hinata as they were wondering where it went, but in reality it was intercepted by one that moved at great speed. They didn't see him. The next second after it vanished the rock appears again, but this time it is thrown back toward Kiba's direction at a greater speed than when he threw it. The thrown rock hits its mark being Kiba's forehead, sending the Inuzuka flying back off his feet, hitting the concrete ground of the path through the park. Sasuke looking away from Kiba back toward Naruto with wide and curious eyes, wondering how Naruto did something like that without even moving, while asleep. As Kiba whined with his hands upon his forehead kicking his feet about, Master Zen is seen still sitting behind the tree opposite of Naruto, chuckling with closed eyes adorning a smile on his face. Never saw that coming, Kiba didn't. How the hell did he do that? Kiba said as he sat himself up, red spot present on his head as he glares toward the sleeping Naruto who didn't do anything at all. Some kind of jutsu. If it is, I have never read on one like that. Sakura said. Me neither. Sasuke chimed in. I'm leaving. Soon Sakura followed after him, followed by Hinata, and then Kiba took sight of another rock reaching for and grabbing, stood up rearing it back to throw, until Sasuke's hand reaches out, grabbing the collar of his shirt pulling him away, making him lose grip of the rock. Hey. You're an idiot. You're the idiot here, Sasuke. This coming from the one that was hit in the head by the very rock he threw. I don't think so. Screw you. Later in the day we find both Master Zen and Naruto standing within the village street, looking upon the very same construction site of newly being built buildings where they met yesterday. What do I have to do for this part of the training? Naruto asked. You are to aid these men in construction work. Master Zen said, getting a confused look from Naruto. It will make sense to you by the end of the 5th day. Whatever you say. Like since the beginning of this training, jutsu is forbidden to be used to assist you in any way including chakra. You are to use tools, but so long as they are merely handheld and not power tools. If I so much as detect chakra coming from you, see you using any power tools, the training is over. Got that? Yes sir, Naruto said, feeling small. Help these men any way they ask you to, such as assisting moving the beams, loading and unloading cement, building the houses as fast as you can, but carefully and without making a single mistake. Not only are you getting stronger through this part of your training, but you will also earn money for your service. I don't know about that part, Naruto said as he looked away. If it's about not getting paid the fair amount, you don't need to worry about that. Really? Trust me, those men will not dare to try and give any less than what you will earn. Now go. Sitting within his office within the academy that not only held the administrative side where the mission assignment desk was, but as well as the Hokage's office. The old man, third Hokage, also known by his name Hiruzen Sarutobi, was doing the one thing that all Kages hated doing in this line of work, and that was paperwork. As he brought up his pen, writing down approved, grabbed the next one, writing down approved, again, and then not again as he wrote down denied. That's when he heard a knock at the door and thanked the heavens for a distraction away from paperwork, even though it was going to be for a couple of seconds. Enter. It was none other than Iruka. Lord Third. Iruka, what is it I can do for you? The third asked and then realized. Shouldn't you be with your students right now? I have Mizuki filling in for me at the moment. I came down here to ask you a question. And that would be? It regards Naruto. I haven't seen him in class today and I was wondering if you knew anything about it. I knew I forgot to do something. The third told himself while inwardly smacking himself in the head. The fault is mine, Iruka. You see, Naruto is undergoing special studies at this very moment for the next 5 days. He will return to you in time for the graduation exam. Ready? Special studies, Lord Third, by whom? From an old friend of mine ages ago, no need to be concerned. Okay then. Iruka said. Thank you, Lord Third. Anytime, and once again sorry for the delay of informing you, this old man is not getting younger. Move faster, you fool. Master Zen yelled aloud to Naruto. Naruto right now was running back and forth lifting and carrying the wooden beams from one area to another for the workers to use for the buildings, his head wet with parts of his hair leaned over from the sweat. If this is your limit without the aid of chakra and jutsu, I will smash another pail upon your head, and this time it won't be made of wood, but that of brick. The results were what Master Zen expected as Naruto began to move at a quicker pace. Good, very good. Naruto minutes later is seen walking across the street bringing one foot in front of the other, carrying a wooden beam upon his shoulders, sliding crouched. Use those legs. Don't you dare drop it or else you will be sorry. Finally the early afternoon training came to its close and Naruto was now standing in front of the worker in charge. Here you go there Naruto, you have a nice day. He said with a big smile, giving Naruto money for his services. What's with you? Naruto asked, noticing how weird the guy was being. What's with me? Nothing at all, why do you ask? Please don't beat me up. What? Nothing, you run along now with your master and have a wonderful day, and I meant a glorious one at that. Okay? Naruto said, turning around walking away. Wonder what is up with him. Once again, have a nice day. The man said as he waved his hand, and if you looked on the back of his head, you would see a protruding bump. Have a good one. Did you get your full earnings? Master Zen asked as Naruto stops before him. You know what, surprisingly I did. On to the next step of your training, follow me back outside the village. It was now time to begin the middle afternoon part of Naruto's training as Naruto and Master Zen are now standing near the shore of quite the sized large lake, the two of them standing upon a pier. So what are we doing out here? Oh, are we going for a swim of something? Well, you are. Awesome, I get to cool off. Who said this was recess? It's not. Naruto asked, looking up to Master Zen standing to his right. Then why are we here? You are to swim a total of 10 laps around this entire lake, no tricks either. Do you not see the size of this lake? What did I tell you? Master Zen grabs Naruto's collar, lifting him up and throws him about, complaining. Splash. Now swim and don't even think about rushing to land until you finished your laps, or else I will just kick you back in. Kick me back in for what, and for what reason would I rush for land? Maybe because these waters are infested with sharks. Okay, I am not an idiot, Master Zen, everyone knows that there are no sharks in this lake. Look again, Master Zen said with a smirk as he pointed off to his left and was as to the left of Naruto. Naruto turned his head in said direction and all and behold, the fin of a shark was swimming his way. Ah. Naruto began to swim away with the shark hot on his tail as Master Zen watched Naruto swim from something that was not really there. The wonders of Jinjutsu this was, and Master Zen could not help but laugh aloud. Naruto continued to swim and as fast as he could away from the supposed shark that was right behind him, which was really an illusion. There was one point where Naruto did try going back to shore, but then and there Master Zen appeared, delivering upon his promise, kicking Naruto back in. Even though he was getting a swim, cleansing himself from the dirt and stink while being chased around by a damn shark that was really an illusion created by Zen himself, he was getting a workout. Eventually Naruto finished his 10 laps around the lake and was now upon the pier once again upon his back, drenched, taking in deep breaths. Since when did this lake have sharks? Naruto asked himself. Is it over yet? Not yet, boy. What now? This will be the final part of your training for the day. What does it involve? Master Zen only chuckles as Naruto wears a frown upon his face. Judging from that chuckle of his, it's definitely not good. Minutes late now, within evening training, Naruto finds himself tied to a tree by a rope, Master Zen sitting upon the branch of a tree across from him above, and Naruto wearing a confused face. Okay, now I am confused. Why am I tied up to a tree? All I will say here, Naruto, is don't you dare try untying the rope or you suffer the consequences. Pretty much knew that from the start. What am I supposed to be doing here besides being tied like a dog? It's simple really. What is it? Master Zen suddenly throws a kunai up to something above Naruto, hitting its mark. Naruto then heard a buzzing sound and when he looked up, seeing what it is, he paled. No. Dodge. Master Zen said with a smile. Bees came flying out down toward Naruto, who riles about as the bees try to sting him, flying around him, and as Master Zen advised, he began to dodge, but he wasn't dodging every single one of the bees. Ow. Ah. Ow. Ouch. Ow. Ow. Hey. Ow. No more. Why? Dodge, you fool. The loud howl of Master Zen's laughter echoes through the evening as birds fly away from the old man's laughter. Finally Naruto was resting as he lay atop a bench within the village in front of the dango shop as an arm and leg hang off the side, with Naruto having many bee stings, Master Zen sitting beside him with his arms crossed over his chest and his eyes closed. Glad that is over, Naruto said. Tomorrow you start the same training all over again. The boy falls over the bench, hitting the ground, then once again Naruto felt like his world shattered as he thought of the word again and no, and he swore he once again could hear Master Zen's laughter echo within his head. All over again, he better not wake me up like he did this morning. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Not this time, he won't believe it. Naruto was resting in his bed with his alarm clock approaching 4:30, and when it did sounding off its alarm, Naruto shot sitting up with his hands up ready to fight. He looked around everywhere, to his left, right, up, and even went as far as looking under his bed. Master Zen was not there. Yes, he didn't expect me to wake before he can strike. Naruto said with a smug smile. Since he is not here, I can probably get a shower in. Naruto went to his drawer pulling out a white shirt along with black shorts so as to use them for training and heads for the bathroom, but comes to a stop before the door and had a thought. What if he's waiting for me in other parts of my apartment? Naruto quickly jogged through his apartment looking everywhere in his living room and even kitchen, seeing no Master Zen in sight, but what if he's in the bathroom? Naruto cautiously opened the bathroom door taking a peek inside, not seeing Master Zen inside anywhere and not even within the tub since the curtain was parted open. With a sigh of relief he pushed the door open, closing it behind him, setting his cloths down upon counter near the sink, reached for the mirror which opened as a cabinet and then after he opened it, your guard is down. Water shoots out into the surprised Naruto's face from out of the cabinet, sending him slipping off his feet and would make him wonder just how the hell Master Zen fit in something so small. Chapter 3. Prologue Part 3. The gift that is Kai. It was another struggling training day for Naruto, in his training garbs, as he went through the same course like yesterday jogging, delivering all the damn milk through the village to every person, including running away from that damn tiger once again. He wanted to take the safer and easier route, but Zen would not allow it as it would make his training far too easily, plus he threatened to smash Naruto with another pail again. Where did he keep getting them anyway? Once again he sat through the studies making sure that he was not reading any smut again like yesterday, and thankfully he wasn't. Then the afternoon parts of training commenced with Naruto helping with construction, earning his pay for his assistance, and then once again found him swimming 10 laps, while all being chased by the illusion that was the shark, suffering bee stings again, but not that much. All in all the training for the day was over for Naruto, as he repeated it for the next 5 days, and upon the 5th day at the end of his training, Master Zen was going to teach him a special lesson. Naruto right now is somewhat further away from the village now sitting within an open field of grass, the evening sky present and Master Zen looking upon the descending sun in the distance. What are we doing all the way out here, Master Zen? Another lesson, but isn't the training over? Yes it is, but as I promised it is time to help you with your jutsu. You're going to teach me a jutsu? Naruto asked excited. No, even better. Master Zen answered turning to Naruto. You are going to create one. Create one. First I am going to teach you how to draw out your Kai, and with that Kai, you will be able to bring it out using it as a weapon itself. What do you mean by that? It's better that I show you myself, Naruto, now watch and pay attention closely. Master Zen said slightly crouched spreading his legs apart, brining the palms of his hands close together with Naruto paying attention very closely. Master Zen closed his eyes and at first for the first couple of seconds, Naruto didn't see anything happen, but then he feels an odd foreign energy that was not like chakra. He wondered where it was coming from, but he figured it out right away, from Master Zen. Then that is when Naruto saw a white aura begin to glow and radiate from Master Zen's body, putting Naruto's mouth slightly agape. This force is tangible within every living thing and person much like how chakra is, but unlike chakra that is throughout the body flowing through chakra points, Kai is within the center of the body. Hi? Naruto asked. This is what we will attempt right now with you, Naruto, you have this Kai like everyone else. However, unlike everyone else it has been with you this whole time just waiting to be grasped. Unlike most people in the world, Kai has special requirements in this day and age, such as requiring the right traits from our ancestors thousands of years ago. Chakra is the main source of energy most humans of our planet use over the lost knowledge of Kai. So what do you mean by needing the right traits? Think of it almost like close to a bloodline, but it's not. Say if Sasuke tried to awaken his Kai, who knows how long it would take him. It could take him possibly a matter of minutes, hours, days, months or even years, or regrettably he may not be able to harness his Kai at all, even though it's possible to be grasped. Very few people in the world have knowledge of Kai, and few is how it needs to stay. Master Zen said as Naruto can feel this Kai coming from him. Then why are you teaching me this knowledge? You, Naruto, like I said is special. What makes me so special? In time you will be told, Naruto, in time. Now unlike most humans of our world, it could take one unpredictable amount of time to awaken his or her Kai, but you should have no problem. It could take you a mere whole day, but we are going to try and awaken you Kai before the end of the day. Now the amazing thing about Kai is that you can draw it out, Naruto then witnesses with his eyes before him seeing a white ball of light that was small form in between Master Zen's palms floating in the air between them manipulated. The ball of Master Zen's white Kai expands into a ball between his hands now near basketball size. No way. Naruto said fascinated. Master Zen stands tall holding the ball of Kai above his right hand beside him, letting Naruto look upon it, his aura of Kai surpassing with it being gone seconds later. You can use your Kai for outside performance from the body, you can use it as a weapon. Awesome. Let me show you. Master Zen said as he looked around and took sight of a boulder. Do you see that boulder over there? Yeah. Master Zen literally throws the ball of Kai from his hand that shoots over the grass, Naruto following it with his eyes, and then boom goes the boulder into pieces, scattering the pieces of rock through the air. Naruto fell back not expecting that with his mouth agape at what just happened. Incredible. He threw it. That is one of the many things you can do with your Kai as a weapon itself. The more powerful your attack, the greater the destruction, which you must be careful with. I will have you know that Kai many years ago was able to manipulate to such a high level that not only was it able to destroy mere boulders, but towns, cities, mountains, continents, planets, and even a galaxy. Master Zen said, grabbing Naruto's attention once again. No way, a planet and a galaxy, how do you know that? In time I will tell you. This not all Kai can be used for though. What else can it be used for? It can be used in many different techniques. For instance, you can power up your Kai to make yourself stronger, since there are physical limits to strengthen the body in order to overcome the barrier. You power up on your Kai, increasing your strength behind your attacks, even punches and kicks, your speed allowing you to move quicker on your feet, your endurance to take a hit, and can even increase the power of your very own attacks to inflict greater damage on your opponent. That's amazing. However, like chakra, the more one's chakra is increased, the harder it is to control, making chakra control important. The same goes for Kai. The more your Kai is increased, the harder to control, making Kai control very important. Master Zen crosses his arms back over his chest, once again looking upon Naruto. I am going to teach you this, but I must ask you of one thing, Naruto. What is it? Naruto asked, standing up. You must swear to never give anyone knowledge of Kai. How come? It will only make things in the world worse than they are now. What do you mean by that? Have you ever heard the saying, so long as there is man there will always be war? Iruka-sensei mentioned it in class one time. How much worse do you think it would make war than they are now if the knowledge of Kai was learned by every major ninja nation? I would say it would make things worse than ever. Like you said, Kai can be used to not just destroy cities, but even continents or the whole planet even. Can't take that risk at all, can we? No, we can't, we mustn't. You have my word, Master. Master Zen looked into Naruto's eyes, seeing no signs of deceit, but that of honesty. Then let us get started in bringing out your Kai. You should be able to get a grasp on it, but when it comes to being able to sense other Kai signatures will have to be learned. Sense? Yes. Won't everyone be able to sense Kai? No. Take for example, if you were to use Kai in battle, power up in front of a normal human being, a ninja or anyone else, to them it would feel like a powerful force that is not like chakra. If they learned the art of Kai sense, then they would be able to sense and feel the true power of Kai itself, much like how most ninja know chakra so vividly, sensing chakra. For all they know, your opponent or anyone else will just think you just wield a powerful chakra. I will teach you how to sense Kai at a later date. Right now we focus on your Kai and your Kai manipulation. Are you ready? Yes, sir. Naruto said, excited. Then let's begin. Close your eyes, have a calm mind, imagine yourself as a calm stream, and focus. With these things in mind, concentrate to the center of your being. Once you feel it, do not hesitate to take hold of it, and once you do, your Kai will be yours to control at will. How will I know the difference between Kai and chakra? How do I know which one is which? Naruto asked, who was standing with his eyes closed, concentrating. You will know, and remember to keep calm, throw away all negative thoughts from your mind. Naruto continued to stand there, doing his best to grasp hold of his Kai inside him, the sun soon coming down upon the horizon an hour later, now being somewhere within 9 in the evening. Master Zen continued to stand there, watching Naruto, remaining patient, because grasping and taking control of your Kai, grinding it out to the surface for the first time, was no easy task. In fact, it took Master Zen near to a year to master his Kai, but for Naruto, he was sure that he would get it down within no time, and soon actually. Master Zen could feel it, Naruto getting ever so closer, and soon he would draw it out, but he also could see Naruto's doubt upon his calm face as he continued to concentrate. Naruto began to growl, but he was unaware that a somewhat small breeze of wind pushed his hair up, barely signaling that he was getting closer to his goal. This is pointless. Naruto suddenly snapped. Why are you stopping? You were so close just now. You said that this training would make me stronger, but I don't feel any different. All I feel is aching sores everywhere from all the hard labor you put me through. Pointless? Master Zen asked. The man suddenly vanished, reappearing before Naruto, delivering a quick jab to the side of Naruto's face, making him turn his head in the direction his head was faced was jabbed too. Naruto backed away, giving the man a glare. What the hell was that for? Naruto demanded. How did that feel? What do you mean, how did that feel? It felt almost like nothing, that's what. Then that is when Naruto realized it. It almost felt like nothing. Almost like nothing hit me at all. Remember the single jab I delivered upon you on first confrontation? It was nowhere as powerful as that, but the attack I just delivered upon you is common strength of most humans, fresh ninja. More powerful ones will obviously be stronger, but with Kai on your side, you will be able to amplify your endurance. Master Zen then pointed off to another boulder that was smaller than the other he blew to pieces. Go and punch that boulder with your fist. What will punching something made of rock result in? I'll just be hurting myself. That's what you think, now go and punch the boulder. Naruto did as told, walking over to it, looking upon its rough surface, seeing all the lumps it had, as well as sharp points and some formations of it. He honestly did not want to punch something like that, knowing that it was going to hurt. It made him look back at Master Zen, who merely gave him a nod. Naruto looked back at the boulder before him, rearing back his right fist, and inwardly cried, thinking that this was going to hurt. Naruto throws his right fist forward, hitting the rock with his teeth clenched together, but then he opens his eyes now with a face of confusion present. Grinding away his right fist, he looked upon it, and surprisingly, it did not hurt as much as it normally would, like it used to. He felt some pain, but only a little of it. What's going on? Did you already forget plowing the fields? Of course I didn't. Your hands have been strengthened as well as the rest of your body, thus increasing your natural invulnerability to deal with pain from the stress and blunt force trauma. So it's because of plowing the fields that I feel such little pain now. Remember how you ran from the tiger, swam all those laps around the lake? Master Zen suddenly vanished, reappearing beside Naruto to his right, delivering a kick, but Naruto was able to see it in time and was fast enough to simply leap back through the air, Master Zen's foot barely missing his face as he backflips away, landing upon the grass upon a single knee. Hey, I dodged that. Your speed and agility have thus increased as well. You have been tested in all fields, and this was only a mere 5 days of training. Now imagine if you went through the normal 8 month course of this training. 8 months. Where it takes most fighters, ninja included, in this age some years to get where they are at, could take you just the mere full 8 month completion course of this training. Of course, by the end of it you wouldn't be stronger than your village's leader, but nonetheless is a faster method of getting stronger. All they merely do is concentrate on developing their jutsu, strengthening their bloodlines, take long hours of training against one another in hand-to-hand combat, increasing their speed with their weights, all this even in fatigue, but the only drawback is it takes them 2 or 3 times longer. They neglect the simple things and importance of strengthening the body and mind for the sake of the development of their powerful jutsu. Think this training was pointless now, Naruto? Naruto only hung his head in shame. Forgive me, Master Zen, I should not have disrespected your methods like that, even after all the time you spent aiding me to get stronger. No need to apologize, Naruto, I am not surprised you question my methods. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Naruto grew a smile upon his face. Now continue. Master Zen said back in teacher mode once again. Naruto returned to his original spot faster than he was before on his feet and immediately returned to focusing on drawing out his Kai. He kept telling himself to focus, to have no doubt his and push all negative thoughts and emotions aside, because only then will he be able to harness his Kai to the surface. Master Zen continued to watch as Naruto stood with closed eyes and a calm mind, with his legs slightly apart, his hands brought up together made into a single seal. That is when Master Zen saw it, and it was a wind picking up from around Naruto, making the grass around Naruto blow in a sort of cyclone with Naruto within. It was rapid, but like that of a soft breeze, as Naruto's hair started to blow as well with the breeze. You're doing it, Naruto, now bring it out to the surface, and your Kai will be at your will. That is when it finally happened, as Naruto's form around him lights up in a light blue color, having a blue aura radiating off of him, along with a charging-like sound, his hair now blowing up at a faster pace. It was Naruto's Kai, who was still in concentration, completely calm. The aura radiating off of him was not in a rapid style, but more of a radiating energy like the cold air of a huge block of ice flowing off. You've done it, Naruto, now open your eyes. Naruto did as told and gave a light gasp at what he was seeing as Master Zen looked upon him with a smile. This is my Kai? Naruto asked as he looked to each one of his hands, seeing the aura of his Kai radiating off of him, as well as looking to the rest of his body, including his feet, seeing his Kai flowing in an upward direction. This is incredible. Now power down. Power down, how do I do that? Imagine it like turning the knob of a sink, stopping the water, turning off the light with the simple flick of a finger, but in this case repress your Kai back inside your body. Just power down. Even though it was somewhat hard to explain, Naruto gets it, and slowly his Kai represses, no longer being seen anymore radiating from his form. He can even feel it now within his body, telling it was his Kai and not chakra, and that it was there ready to be drawn out, like how chakra was there ready to be used for jutsu. I feel so much different. I did too when I awakened mine, but that was many years ago. That is when he noticed Naruto taking position, seeing him bring his open palms close together to form a ball of Kai. Don't overdo it, if you do you may just blow your own hands off. Seriously? I can happen. I am sure with your guidance I can nail this, master. This is a little more difficult as it requires you to form a ball of Kai within the center of your hands, but outside of the body within the air itself. Think of your hands as magnets, as your body possess Kai keeping it afloat, because without it will just go shooting off in whatever direction it pleases. When your Kai is formed within your hands, it will remain so long as you can keep up the flow. In time you will do this without even noticing it yourself, much like the same with water walking using chakra. Concentrate. Naruto did as told, focusing his Kai and flows it through the palm of his hands, and then floating within center of them a small yellow light makes its presence known. Naruto got so excited that it started to dim, but seeing this he focused once again, and the light only gets brighter. The size begins increasing as Naruto watches his Kai form slowly up into a ball that was not near the size of Master Zen's, but it was bigger than a baseball. Do you have a stable grasp of it? I do. Then congratulations, you have learned a new technique, make sure you use it to blow your teachers away with it in 2 days, but not literally. Naruto was so happy he began jumping up and down, holding it up above his head with both heads over his head with ball of Kai, and began running back and forth. Quite impressed, he got that down faster than I did when I first tried, though it is to be expected having good suspicion knowing what he is. Master Zen thought with a smile. Be careful with it, you fool. Naruto stops. Sorry, I'm just so happy that I did it. I am going to become a ninja. Ninja. Okay then ninja, you want to test it out or not? Test it out. Master Zen simply presents his right hand to the very same boulder Naruto punched not long ago. Really? Naruto asked, even more excited, receiving a nod. Alright. Naruto turned himself in the direction toward the boulder, now holding the ball of Kai within his right hand, reared it back and throws his hand forward, along with the ball of Kai that impacts against the boulder, blowing it to pieces with a cloud of dirt blocking the boulder from view. When it settles, it is revealed that the whole boulder is not destroyed by almost half of the boulder was reduced to pieces with the rest still standing. I didn't blow it up. You're just a beginner, it's to be expected. Master Zen said. He did better than I did the first time in my youth. What else can I do with my Kai? Naruto asked excitingly. There are a great many things you can do with it, almost limitless. He can see the boy was just getting even more and more excited by the second. But for now that is all. Oh really? In time I will teach you more, but don't you have something important to attend to tomorrow? Naruto's face went serious. You're right, I do. Take what you have learned and use it well, but don't get overconfident just because you have grasped your true potential. Never underestimate your opponent no matter how big or small, got that? I can be a little arrogant. Not if you know you are going to win. You should be able to stand on equal footing to Sasuke now or have that much a greater chance against him. You didn't think I would have won in the academy training field. I am going to be honest with you, Naruto. The scales were tipped in his favor at the time, but now that will be different with the trio. Sasuke won't know what hit him. Naruto said, punching a fist into the palm of his hand. Don't try to be so much of a show-off, Naruto. You are going to become a ninja and ninja never reveal their secrets, right? You're right. Tomorrow I am going to fight smart and I will win, and when I do Sasuke will have no choice but to teach me a jutsu. Then let us return back to the Hidden Leaf Village, it is getting late after all. So I'm not going to have you waking me up early with a pail of water, am I? Master Zen didn't say anything as the man simply walked right past him with a smile on his face which worried Naruto. Eventually the two returned to the village with Naruto having went home to get some rest for his fight against Sasuke tomorrow, while Master Zen had important business of his own to attend to as well. Within the Hokage Tower where the village's leader resided, the third sat upon his futon as he reads a book while smoking a pipe. After taking a whiff of it and blowing out the smoke afterwards he speaks. So how did it go? Walking out of the shadows was Master Zen. I was wondering when you would finally take notice of me, Hiruzen, you are getting too old. This man may be old, but he can still put up a fight that can shake the earth beneath your feet. Big mentally yes, literally no. Zen Sarutobi, you never told me your reasons for sudden interest taking Naruto up as your pupil. I have my reason, but regrettably I cannot share them with you. Why is that? This is a village full of ninja, I can't risk saying anything out loud even in your room. You do know that Naruto, if he passes, will pass, you mean? I never said he wouldn't, I have great confidence that he will succeed and make a fine leaf ninja. Anyway, when he passes the graduation exam at the academy you do know that he will be put into a squad with a teacher. And what is wrong with having two? Nothing, just letting you know that Naruto won't be as available as he was ever before, he is going to be a ninja. It won't be a problem, I guarantee you. Who is going to be his instructor, by the way? Kakashi Haddock, and if you are interested in knowing who his squad mates will be when he passes, they will be Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. Sasuke? Something wrong? No, nothing at all, just interesting. It's actually funny since the two are going to fight tomorrow. I am leaving then. Before I go I have a question for you that I hope you can answer for me. That depends. What did Naruto's training involve? He was given silence as an answer. Really, is it that important to be kept so silent? Very, let's just say it would make the world a lot worse. There you go again speaking in riddles. I thought it solving them, cousin. Get out of here and let me smoke. The third said as he looked back upon his book taking another puff. Zen Sarutobi already gone. Chapter 4. Prologue Part 4. Naruto vs Sasuke. The day was finally the day of Naruto and Sasuke's fight, but first Naruto would have to return to the academy and then afterwards he and Sasuke will meet alone, no distractions and no spectators. Naruto right now was barely zipping up the shirt of his Goku-like outfit, letting the zipper stop just below his neckline to have an exposed V, the blue shirt underneath showed off under. Lastly he grabs his staff, ringing the weapon over his back to grabbing his holster for kunai, shuriken, and such, hoisting it around his left hip. He stretched his legs before running for the kitchen, grabbing a quick bite to eat, and not many minutes later, Naruto is out upon his balcony, leaping from it to the rooftops, heading in the direction of the academy. When he arrived it was when all the dozens of students can be seen walking toward the front entrance of the academy, Naruto now standing next to the tree that had a swing under it. "You just wait, Sasuke, I am going to show you that I have surpassed you," he thought with confidence. Students were seated walking into Iruka's class while others went to other classrooms. Sasuke, who was sitting by his lonesome as he preferred, couldn't stop looking up in the direction of Naruto's empty seat where he usually sat, and he has been doing for the past 5 days already. Others in the classroom even noticed this and came to a conclusion that it must have been because of the fight he and Naruto exchanged. Sasuke saw one more student walk in, going up the steps to take his seat with Naruto once again not showing up, and it made him growl. Where in the world is Naruto? Iruka wondered as he walked to the open door. Lord Third said it would only be for 5 days, did I hear wrong, or maybe Naruto is just running late? Iruka grabs the door and begins to slide it closed, but before it can even close all the way a hand from the other side stops him. "Hold on a second, sensei," the voice of Naruto said as he parted it open, the door, stepping inside wearing a smile on his face. "Well, look who's back," Sasuke thought as he locked his gaze upon Naruto. "Naruto, it's been some time since we have seen you. Everyone has been curious where you have been, you know. It's only been 5 days, so what's there to be curious about? For a second I thought you were playing hooky today. You know I wouldn't do that." Iruka playfully pats the clipboard with a list of names of students within his class atop Naruto's head, who gives a chuckle. "I can't explain it, but he looks different even though nothing about him, at least physically, has changed. Perhaps it's just me," Iruka thought. "Go and take your seat before I mark you absent." "Right away," Naruto said, giving a salute, walking to his usual seat, which was upon the second level of stairs of long tables. All the while Naruto was heading up to his seat, he would get some stares from the other students, with the fight between Naruto and Sasuke still a buzz within the academy, and not only that, but Naruto looking off to his right from the corner of his eye down to locking his eye with Sasuke's. Both of them had that serious look in their eyes, with neither one looking away, even as Naruto turned walking into the row where an empty seat was, and as he walked toward it, he now had both sets of his eyes looking down to Sasuke, even as he took a seat, still with the two not taking their gaze away from one another. Not only did some of the students notice this, Iruka did as well, and he only sighs, wondering what he was going to do with those two, but regardless he proceeds to call roll. The both Naruto and Sasuke, all sound was blocked off, not hearing a single thing, as their stare contest seemed to be more important right now, and when Iruka came to calling Sasuke's name he didn't answer, but marked him as present, and did the same with Naruto when he called his name. Iruka did not like where he suspected this was going, so he would have to make sure he kept an eye on both Naruto and Sasuke when it was time for the class to go out to the academy training field, didn't want those two going into another fight. Iruka then proceeded to teach the class about this and that, math, important battles throughout the Leaf's history, as well as covering the ninja wars that have come and gone. In fact, the mention of Madara Uchiha came up and Iruka asked Sasuke a question, but was shocked to still see Sasuke having his gaze locked with Naruto's. "Sasuke, what do you think of your ancestor, Madara Uchiha? He was an asshole." Sasuke replied, getting giggles from the girls as usual, boys chuckled, and Iruka frowned. "And why do you think he was an asshole?" "Because he betrayed his own clan and the village, and therefore he is a disgrace to the Uchiha name." Enough said. "Anything else you would like to share, Sasuke?" No reply, as he and Naruto are still locked in their stare contest. "I'll take that as a no." The only time that Sasuke and Naruto broke off their stare was when the time came for the class to go to the academy training field to train, such as jog laps, throw kunai, practice chakra control, do push-ups or sit-ups, this and that, whatever one did as training on this field. You can do all of that or do what Naruto and Sasuke were doing, and that was nothing, as they both sat on the bleachers apart from one another at the bottom, both of them still looking off from the corner of their eyes at one another. Iruka had been on the field watching the other time and was wondering when both Naruto and Sasuke were going to stop. They both needed to do something, because if they wanted to do nothing then that was going to have to wait around lunch. "Naruto and Sasuke," Iruka called out to both of them. "The two of you can't just sit around and do nothing, it will affect your grade." Something told him that they really didn't care and that what mattered to them right now was trying to beat one another to a pulp. "Naruto, why don't you go over and practice throwing your shuriken and kunai? Sasuke, how about you go and practice your chakra control with the others, okay?" Iruka wanted to get the two as far away from one another as possible, as the both of them stood up walking to their assigned designations. "Seriously, it's like those two are at war." This was the only time Naruto and Sasuke break eye contact from one another thanks to Iruka's efforts to keep them apart. Naruto stood behind a line 50 meters away from a set-up target with 5 other students standing to his left, all of them throwing kunai or shuriken at their individual targets upon the bark of separate trees. Naruto watched the other students throwing kunai and shuriken, trying to hit the center red mark, with some hitting on the targets, but nor in center, or would hit the tree bark instead. He pulled out a single kunai looking upon it to looking ahead to the target 50 meters away from him, and wanting to try a little experiment he focused Kai through his body, and then he threw the kunai that pierced quickly through the air toward its target. What happened next was his kunai smashes through the center bull's eyes piercing into the tree, stopping within the tree bark's very center, the whole kunai almost within the tree, but barely the butt of the thrown kunai can be seen. The other 5 students that were training standing off to his left stopped having seen what just happened and simply turned their heads to Naruto. Naruto turned his head to them. "What is something on my face? How did you?" Iruka asked as he was now standing behind Naruto not believing what he just saw. "You broke the target. And I think the tree as well." It's strange, Naruto was never this good before and here with his first throw, he already made a bull's eye and harming the tree in the process. What kind of studies did Naruto go through? "What now?" Naruto asked. "Go ahead and go to the Taijutsu do," then he remembered hearing what Naruto did to the last one. "On second thought, why don't you go run some laps? You're the boss," Naruto said, walking away to his new assigned destination and task. How did he make a simple kunai break through the tree like that and all with just a simple throw, but seeing the damage surely says that Naruto put some power behind it. Iruka wondered. When Naruto arrived at the starting line upon the track that went around within the academy training field, so did a certain Sasuke Uchiha stopping before Naruto, both of them still stare at one another like have been throughout the day, both anticipating to fight one another and prove which one of them was the strongest. Few students, few not all, caught the stare down between Naruto and Sasuke as their stare down grabs their gaze, wondering which one of them was going to make the first move beginning the fight. However, both Naruto and Sasuke were not stupid as they were not going to settle things here with Iruka around, seeing as he will only interfere once again like before. Instead of throwing fists at one another, both of them direct their eyes upon the track to looking back at one another, both were having the same idea. The two of them turned facing down the track, getting in the appropriate position like a professional track runner would before the start of the run, and all the while still keeping their eyes upon one another, but of course when the run would begin, they would have to look away from one another when the run down the 100-yard dash. The academy training field was that big so as to be big enough to have multiple students out upon the field. Iruka's class was not the only one out here, you know. Their frozen positions as they stare at one another from the corners of their eyes was starting to grab more attention as none of them seemed to have tried to break for it first, both waiting for some kind of signal to start the run. In fact, once again Ino, who took notice standing with other female academy students, wore that small smug smile on her face. Naruto may have gotten a hit off of Sasuke, but there is no way that Naruto can keep up with Sasuke. Sasuke is the fastest in the academy, Naruto doesn't know what he is up against. Ino thought as she walked toward the track. "Looks like you boys need someone to start this race," she said as she walked into the center of the track, standing 30 meters away from both Naruto and Sasuke, the two of them knowing of her presence but didn't take their eyes away from one another. She stood with a hand upon her hip that was propped out a little. "Sasuke, here is some motivation for you. If you win me and you can go out on a date, how does that sound?" Sasuke gave her no reply, not saying yes or even saying no, therefore leaving Ino with any answer. "I hate it when I am ignored," Ino thought as she narrowed her eyes upon the two. Not even Naruto's attention was grabbed by her even in the department of looks. They don't even spare to give a sexy girl like me a glance, and one that is going to kick this thing off too, and not even Naruto looked, not that I am the least interested in him at all though. She thought as she brought up her hand up above her head. "On your mark." Both Naruto and Sasuke narrowed their eyes upon one another. "That's set." They both still stare. "Go," Ino said aloud, waving her hand down. The next thing she knew, both boys passed her up, leaving behind a smoke of dirt while blowing parts of her cloths and hair, demonstrating how fast both of them were moving right now. Their sudden pass by caught her off guard that she fell back on her butt upon the track. She quickly stood back up, turning around to look upon the race between the two, and her face turns to one of confusion, seeing something that shouldn't be happening. Some students that were standing by the track look on as both Naruto and Sasuke passed them up, following them with their heads. "Look at that," the first academy student said. "Naruto is keeping up with Sasuke." The second academy student said. "No way," Ino said, shocked. Both Naruto and Sasuke were running neck and neck along the track, both of them not using chakra in any way to assist them. The two of them eye one another from the corners of their eyes, both of them not looking to be fatigued at all yet. "Naruto is keeping up with me, how?" "That's right, Sasuke, you're no longer the only fastest one in the academy now." Kiba, who was standing with both Hinata and Shino, all see Naruto and Sasuke about to pass them to go around the first turn of the track, and as they did dashing past them, Kiba growls, obviously jealous of Naruto. First Naruto was able to hit Sasuke, and here he was now 5 days later able to keep up with Sasuke on foot, going against the Rookie of the Year in seemingly equal ground. Naruto. Kiba growled the name. Most of the students now on the academy training field now had their eyes fixed upon Naruto and Sasuke's 100-meter dash, anticipating which one of them was going to win. Was it going to be Sasuke as usual that outpaced most of everyone in the school, or was Naruto finally going to be the first to beat Sasuke in a race, as much as he did being the first hitting him? Iruka finally noticed that he could hear almost no activity from students around him, and when he finally brought his attention away from the damage Naruto caused there, he saw both Naruto and Sasuke running neck and neck down the track and coming his direction nearing the second turn, as well as the end of the 100-yard dash. Sasuke, still seeing Naruto right next to him, decided to speed things up as he pumped more chakra to his feet, increasing his speed, and the result was Sasuke moving faster and ahead of Naruto. "Oh no you don't." As Sasuke continued to dash ahead with a chakra boost, Naruto, who hadn't been dashing with chakra yet, did the same, manipulating chakra into his feet to give him a speed boost as well, and soon Naruto moved up ahead, gaining on Sasuke, now running alongside the Uchiha again side by side. He has improved. Iruka, who was seeing the two approaching the last turn, couldn't help but be impressed by the display, especially Naruto, since Iruka knows that he was never able to before keep up with Sasuke like this. What happened in Naruto's 5 days of special studies away from the academy? Is this the result of those special studies? Iruka follows with his gaze as the two quickly speed by going around the last turn, and soon Naruto and Sasuke find themselves neck and neck running toward the finish line. At the end, the Sasuke fan club, to which Sasuke despised with all his being, seeing it as them being annoying, stood up in the bleachers cheering on for Sasuke, of course. Sakura was standing somewhere close by, not cheering for Sasuke. Sure, Sasuke was good looking and all, but she was not going to do something as cheer his name all day like that, and not like Ino was right now standing in the center of the track upon the finish line. "Look at those two go," Iruka said as he continued to observe. Both Naruto and Sasuke look at one another, each wanting to win the gold for themselves, to prove who was faster. Naruto may have improved, but Sasuke's speed suddenly increased, with chakra aiding him as he dashed up faster than before ahead of Naruto, whose eyes were wide seeing such a thing. "You're the one who is going to come in second." Instead of using chakra, Naruto finally used the art of Kai that was taught to him by his master. What he did was channel Kai into his feet, and upon doing this, Sasuke immediately sensed the foreign signature, knowing that it was coming from Naruto. He had never felt this kind of chakra before, which he assumed it to be, since he did not know it was actually Kai, something entirely different. Faster than Sasuke speed up ahead of Naruto, Naruto himself speed up 2 times faster than Sasuke did, shooting up, catching up to the Uchiha in less than 5 seconds. Sasuke, who looked over his shoulder, was shocked at this great increase of speed, as Naruto was now neck and neck with him again, but by the time he reached Sasuke, the both of them crossed the finish line. Their dash was so fast that they both shoot past Ino, blowing her skirt back a little, and as for Naruto and Sasuke, the two were now sliding upon the track along their feet, slowly coming to a stop. When the two finally did, they were looking one another in the eye with their individual legs stretched out, the other bent like in a crouch, with each having a single hand placed upon the track. The two crouched low to the ground in this particular pose. "Who won?" an academy student asked. "No idea," another said. "They were both so fast that I couldn't tell who crossed the finish line first." "Well, I think we all know who won here," Ino said aloud with a smug smile on her face, grabbing attention. It was clearly Sasuke that won. And as soon as she made this claim, the Sasuke fan club cheered. "No," Sasuke's voice said aloud, silencing the fan club. "Sasuke, what do you mean no?" Ino asked. "Ino, it was clearly a draw," Sakura said. "A draw? Listen to you, Sakura, there was no." "It was," Sasuke said as he and Naruto were still looking upon one another. "She is right, this race was a draw, we both clearly crossed at the same time." "An impressive display from the both of you, Naruto and Sasuke," Iruka said as he is now seen walking up to the two, grabbing their attention away from one another. "I have not seen such an exciting dash for quite some time, a job well done to the both of you." Naruto and Sasuke then looked back at one another again, each within their own thoughts. Where did that sudden burst of speed come from, and did that foreign signature have something to do with it? Is this possibly the result of his training? "Sasuke sure is fast on his feet. If I hadn't used some Kai, then I probably would have never caught up with him, turning this outcome into a draw." Then the same thought crossed within the two's minds. "I look forward to fighting you." The time was approaching for the two's battle to be outside the village walls. Everyone was back in their classrooms continuing their daily studies, anticipating to either go home or just get out of here to get to their after activities, but for two certain people were anticipating their fight, with them being Naruto and Sasuke. When the time finally came for everyone's dismissal to leave so as to go home, Sasuke stood from his seat to looking over his shoulder at Naruto, who stood up as well. Sasuke stared at him for a couple of seconds before he looked away, walking for the exit, and Naruto walking down the steps following after Sasuke. Iruka saw what was going on seeing Naruto following after Sasuke, but he didn't know about the planned battle, but something told him that this was not going to be good. The two just kept on walking at a casual pace, not in any sort of hurry, as they walked through the streets of the village apart from one another, with Sasuke ahead of Naruto, the crowds of the village walking past both Sasuke and Naruto, who gave no heed to the villagers. They eventually came across to walking out of the front open gates of the village, and as they did, two familiar gate guards gave the two an odd look, looking as if Naruto was following Sasuke. Naruto continued to silently follow after Sasuke along the path as the two turned, going down the path to the left, heading toward the third training ground. The two came walking upon a wooden bridge that was really just some log going over the small creek, and when the two reached the other side, Iruka appears on the opposite end of the log bridge, seeing the two heading toward the third training ground. I knew it, those two are going to fight. I got to stop this before it gets out of hand for those two. Iruka begins running across the log bridge, but then, I don't think so. Iruka stops in his tracks as the cloaked and hooded Master Zen lands within center of the log bridge, blocking Iruka's path with his arms crossed over his chest. Who the hell are you? Iruka asked. I am one who cannot let you proceed any further interfering with their fight. Don't tell me they hired someone just in case if they were followed. Of course not, I merely wish to see the results of my pupils' training. What do you mean by? And that is when Iruka realized. So that is Naruto's special studies. He was undergoing training from you as your student. That's correct, Iruka. Why are you stopping me? Don't you see that those two are only going to put one another in the hospital or worse? I assure you that if it comes to that, then I will of course step in. I don't know who you are, but I can't trust you, so please move out of the way, or I will have to force you. Don't kid yourself, you wouldn't stand a chance against me. Master Zen then brought up his right hand, forming a seal with his fingers, making Iruka bring up his guard, spinning out a kunai. I do not wish to bring harm upon you, and as of this moment you won't be able to recall these events. Iruka's eye vision then began to get blurry, making him blink them rapidly, wondering what was going on, and then he felt his entire body suddenly feeling tired as his vision slowly fades. Now sleep, and then just like that Iruka's eyes closed, welcoming darkness. Naruto and Sasuke stood across from one another upon the third training ground once again in a stare down with the intensity in their eyes. First you were able to land a punch on me, and now you were able to keep up with my speed. Sasuke said, getting an upper left smirk from Naruto. But don't go thinking that makes you more superior to me, Naruto, because I haven't showed you what I can really do. Everything you were able to accomplish against me was just pure luck. Oh, so no one is supposed to have any chance against you then? You are really stuck up and arrogant sometimes, Sasuke. Just because you are called Rookie of the Year or descended from a prestigious clan does not make you superior to everyone else. I never said that I was, but I am to you. After this, Sasuke, I will be the superior one. Naruto said, getting into a stance that Sasuke did not recognize being of Naruto's own, and he didn't seem to see any openings within it. It doesn't matter, he is still going to lose this fight. Sasuke readies himself with his hands low, his legs sliding apart, and now the two just waiting for one or the other to deliver the first blow to start off the fight. It was Sasuke that starts it off as he reaches to his pouches behind his waist, throwing shuriken out and toward Naruto that spin rapidly his direction. Naruto did the obvious smart thing, and it was evading by him simply cartwheeling backwards once before leaping up into the air, dodging the shuriken that go right under his feet. Naruto now in the air, then notices as Sasuke appears in the air higher. Sasuke was fast as he then throws down a rain of more deadly weapons upon Naruto, but this time they were not shuriken, but a rain of kunai. How Sasuke had and threw that many kunai at once Naruto would never know. Naruto lands upon the ground seeing the rain of kunai approaching rapidly upon him, and then as he looked at the kunai his eyes sort of widened as he is reminded of the bees. In fact, as he looked up at the approaching rain of kunai, they seemed to turn into bees, not literally, but they reminded him of bees with stingers that he had to avoid in his training. Naruto decided not to run as he simply stood there on the ground, waiting with Sasuke looking down with wide eyes, seeing the crazy stunt Naruto was going to pull. Why didn't he dodge? That is when Sasuke saw the most shocking thing that Naruto did, as it was him beginning to evade by leaping from one spot to the other, evading all the kunai, and he did it with such speed and grace that it almost made Sasuke jealous. Sasuke landed back on the ground just in time when the rain of his kunai stopped, seeing all his kunai stabbed within the ground and Naruto standing tall, slowly looking Sasuke's direction. Sasuke couldn't believe what he was seeing. He doesn't even have a single scratch or tear. Sasuke thought. His eyes narrowed upon Naruto as he asked, how did you do that? Naruto only gave Sasuke a smile, not going to tell, as well as satisfied with the results of his training, improving his speed and agility. There's no way I am going to tell you, Sasuke. Just luck then. Sasuke assumed. And there you go again, assuming everything that I do to be nothing but luck, arrogance. Why are you like this anyway? From what I have heard, you were once friendly and happy. You would never understand. Sasuke dashed toward Naruto with the Uzumaki doing the same, and upon meeting in center, the two clashed in a battle of taijutsu, throwing punches and kicks at one another that they either blocked or evaded altogether. Their fists and feet flew at one another, looking like a speedy battle. Sasuke leaped up into the air, kicking his left foot to the right, forcing Naruto to duck, but as soon as he did, Sasuke landed low to the ground, kicking the same leg around along the ground, at the same time turning his form and his foot now heading for Naruto's face. What Sasuke then saw as interesting was Naruto suddenly shooting back away along the ground upon his feet with a hand placed upon the grass. Seriously, it was like something pushed him away as Sasuke felt a wind blow against him, as well as dirt being kicked up from where Naruto's were originally were. Sasuke stood tall once again, ready to go once again, with Naruto doing the same. In all truth, how Naruto shot away from Sasuke was Naruto having used only a small quick burst of his Kai that was not visible when he used the small burst. What the hell is going on here? That kick should have hit him. Sasuke thought as he replayed it in his head, seeing how Naruto just moved away like that, evading his kick. He didn't move a single muscle and yet he is over there. How is that possible? But more importantly, how did he perform such a feat? Is my mind playing tricks on me? No. I know what I saw. I did feel that breeze, so perhaps he used his chakra. No, I didn't sense it at all. This doesn't make sense. Something wrong, Sasuke. Alright, Naruto, I have been going easy on you, so this time I am not going to be pulling my punches anymore. But it was getting boring anyway. Sasuke reached back, grabbing his sword, removing it from his sheath, with Naruto reaching behind his shoulder, pulling out his staff, spinning it rapidly before and around his form, showing his skill with the weapon. Sasuke, seeing how Naruto handled the weapon, knew that Naruto was good at its use, but then again he was almost masterful with the sword, and the whole academy knew it. This time it was Naruto that charged towards Sasuke, spinning his staff within hand, as Sasuke stood his ground waiting for Naruto to approach. Sasuke brought up his sword, blocking and parrying the strikes Naruto delivered with his staff as he backed away, while Naruto proceeded forward with his assault. The two then eventually came into a lock of staff and pole, struggling against one another, now face to face, trying overpowering one another. Sasuke broke away from Naruto, backing up, and as he did, Naruto swung his staff out to his right, hoping to manage to hit Sasuke across the face with its end, but it barely misses Sasuke's nose as he broke away. Sasuke, after evading, then immediately shoots forward at Naruto, putting him on the defensive, attacking with his sword as Naruto blocked or evaded it. Sasuke couldn't believe that Naruto was actually able to evade even with this speed within the swings of his sword. Sasuke, after delivering another strike with his sword against Naruto's staff, forcing Naruto's weapon and his arms up in that direction, made a growl and then vanished, reappearing behind Naruto in midair. The Uchiha turning within the air, delivering his right foot into the ribcage area of Naruto's body, making Naruto close his right eye halfway, but Naruto manages to counter as he simply delivers back a left kick into Sasuke's chest, sending the Uchiha shooting away through the air. Sasuke recovering himself in the air into a backflip, landing a distance away from Naruto, and now having his left hand upon his chest due to Naruto's strong kick. Naruto was doing the same, only his hand was upon his ribcage to his right. Again, he hit me again. Sasuke said as he rose to his feet. What happened to him over the past 5 days? This is not the same Naruto. He's faster and stronger than he was before. He was not gone for more than a week, and here he is managing to keep up with me when everyone else couldn't. He must have been doing some kind of special training, but this in just less than a week. Sasuke is still tough, so I better not underestimate him for 1 second, because one slip up can cost the whole battle. Where have you been all this time, Naruto? What? You have been training, haven't you? You were not this strong before, so you must have underwent some sort of special training. So what was it? There is no way I am telling you my secrets. That's not very ninja-like, you know. Stop trying to avoid the question and just answer it, Naruto. How did you reach this level of strength so quickly? Is the Rookie of the Year worried that someone has caught up to him? Naruto asked, with Sasuke giving a short growl. Or perhaps he is worried that he has been surpassed. Don't get full of yourself, Naruto. I have beaten you multiple times before because you're an annoying loser and always have and will always be. You have no idea of what additional surprises I have in store for you. I am going to admit that you have become stronger, but you are still nowhere close to my level to beat me. Something tells me otherwise. Sasuke closed his eyes with a smile gracing his lips, followed by a chuckle. Then I guess I am just going to have to give you a demonstration of my power then. I can sense chakra gathering within his eyes. Sasuke opened his eyes, revealing them to now be red, with left eye having a single black comma around its black eye pupil, while the right had 2 of them. What is that? Congratulations, Naruto, you are the first that will experience the power of my Sharingan. Sharingan. So long as I have this bloodline of mine active, there is no way that I can't see through any of your jutsu. That's quite the claim, Sasuke. Care to put it to the test? Gladly. Sasuke suddenly moved at a greater speed than before, so much to Naruto that his dash forward left behind a sort of lens flare, and the next thing Naruto knew he had a fist planted in his stomach. Naruto's eyes widen in surprise at Sasuke's increase in power. Naruto was launched through the air, hitting the ground, rolling back in a tumble, Sasuke just standing in Naruto's original position, watching as Naruto tumbled away. When Naruto's tumble ended, he was upon his bottom, sitting up looking towards Sasuke's direction with a hand placed upon his stomach. "How is that for a demonstration, Naruto?" Sasuke asked as Naruto picked himself back up. "You don't have a chance here." Sasuke moved so fast just then, and right after he activated his bloodline. So this is the power of the Uchiha blood. Naruto thought as he stood up, now back upon his feet. "Like I said." Sasuke suddenly appeared behind Naruto. "You don't stand a chance." Naruto quickly performed a kick in an attempt to hit Sasuke, but his foot just went straight through the Uchiha's form dispersing away like the wind. It was here that Naruto was confused, wondering what just happened to Sasuke and more importantly what was happening right now at this very moment. Naruto landed back upon his feet, looking to the position he kicked through Sasuke, seeing him gone. "Sasuke. What's wrong, Naruto?" Naruto turned around looking to the voice, seeing Sasuke rising out of the ground as if he were simply phasing right through it. Of course Naruto was wondering how in the world Sasuke was doing that, as he has never heard of such a jutsu to his knowledge with that ability. Sasuke suddenly dashed forward with sword in hand, assaulting Naruto with it that backed away, evading the swings of Sasuke's sword, moving away or ducking under it. All of these evasions were close calls, as with one of the swings of Sasuke's sword, slashed away only a small portion of 3 hairs off of Naruto's head. "Where has that confidence of yours gone?" Sasuke taunted as he attacked Naruto, who continued to dodge and then brings up his staff, seeing Sasuke's sword coming from below, and what happened was Sasuke's sword cutting the staff in half, splitting it in two. "Naruto." Sasuke managed to throw a left punch across Naruto's face, making Naruto stagger back and away on the verge of losing his balance. Sasuke intended to continue his assault upon the staggering Naruto as the Uchiha reared back his right hand with his sword in a reverse grip. He swung his blade forward and then suddenly Naruto's eyes snapped back open, narrowing upon Sasuke, his feet planting flat on the ground, regaining his footing and balance, and all at the same time brining up his hands, catching Sasuke's sword between the palms of his hands. Naruto now had Sasuke's sword caught between his hands before him in a diagonal angle. Sasuke began to push more of his strength so as to overpower Naruto, but Naruto was pushing back himself as the two growled in front of one another's faces. It was then that Sasuke began to see it with his Sharingan eyes, seeing what was not what looked or felt like chakra, but something else, being that foreign signature. A mysterious source of energy spreads throughout Naruto's body, and now Sasuke can see a sort of faint blue aura radiating off the top form of Naruto's body. Naruto was now overpowering Sasuke as he moved the sword away from before him as Sasuke glares, wondering where this strength came from. Naruto forces and throws Sasuke's sword out of his grip and spinning through the air as it stabs into the ground. Sasuke's Sharingan eyes were wide as Naruto wore a smirk upon his face as he spun his form, performing a kick, introducing the back of his left heel across Sasuke's face, now sending Sasuke through the air. What? It was now Sasuke that took a tumble upon the ground, rolling upon his side until coming to a stop, and when he did he lifted himself up with his arms looking to Naruto ahead of him. There Naruto stood on his guard with his eyes focused on Sasuke, not taking his eyes off his opponent as he spun the two small staffs in his hands rapidly for a second before stopping. What just happened, and how was Naruto able to counter me like that? Most of all, what was that energy I was seeing? I can't see it now, so where did it go? It doesn't matter for now, so long as he keeps on staring into my eyes, I can just snare him in my Jinjutsu, and as he stands there like an idiot taking my attacks, he will soon be on the ground. Sasuke thought as a smile graced his face while standing up back to his feet. Was that another fluke, Sasuke? Naruto taunted. Sasuke did not reply as he just keeps his eyes upon Naruto, never turning his head away as he walks to his sword, eventually reaching it, grasping the hilt of his weapon. "But you want to know why the Uchiha is the most feared clan, Naruto?" "Not really. I am pretty sure it is nothing but a little fairy tale concocted from over-exaggeration and arrogance. Are you insulting my clan? No, just the idiots that look upon your bloodline as if it was the very power of God. Well, maybe they are onto something." Sasuke jests. "Were you just serious, or was that supposed to be a joke?" "Shut up." Both Naruto and Sasuke vanish from their spots, reappearing before one another in center, rearing back their weapons, Sasuke his sword and Naruto one of his now short sticks. What happened next was Sasuke's sword cutting through the right stick within Naruto's hand, reducing size, but Naruto having the left one swings it up, smacking the underside of Sasuke's wrist, making the sword spin up into the air. Naruto took the opportunity to punch up his right fist, delivering an uppercut under Sasuke's chin, who wore a face of pure shock as he was launched up into the air. Naruto was not done yet as he leaped quickly up into the air, appearing above and before Sasuke, twirling around to deliver a kick to Sasuke's surprise yet again at Naruto's department and improved speed. Naruto was successful delivering the kick across the Uchiha's face, but then Sasuke poofs into smoke, revealing that Naruto kicked a log, instead severing it in two. Naruto landed upon the ground looking up to watching the pieces of log hit the ground. Substitution. Suddenly erupting out of the river behind Naruto was Sasuke, already with his hands together into a single seal, having finished the seals of the fireball jutsu. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Sasuke took in a deep breath and blew down a torrent of fire toward Naruto from midair that looked over his shoulder with widening eyes. Naruto thought of the only one thing he can do, and it was to finally use the Kai Blast. So as he turned around toward the approaching fireball, Naruto at the same time held his left hand out to his lower left, this being a slow motion moment for dramatic effect, forming a ball of his Kai within the palm of his hand. When he was fully turned and facing the approaching flame, his Kai Blast finally solidified into a ball as he clenched his fingers around it, light brightening out from between his fingers. Sasuke saw this too and his eyes once again widened at the jutsu Naruto was using, but was one he had never heard, read about, or even seen before. Naruto roars as he was about to throw the Kai Blast toward the fireball, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere, that's enough. The cloaked Master Zen appeared between Naruto and the path of Sasuke's fireball upon one knee, having his left finger placed against Naruto's forehead, basically commanding him to stop, and as for the fireball, what he did was incredible. At the same time he placed his finger upon Naruto's forehead, he stretched out and aimed his right palm toward the approaching fireball, and what happened was the fireball was diminished by a powerful invisible force. The fireball's trail diminishing quickly all the way back to Sasuke, who was shocked as this unknown man defeated his fireball like it was child's play. Sasuke landed upon the water, standing upon it looking toward the man who was now standing upon his feet between both Naruto and him. Naruto's bowl of Kai slowly shrinking until it was gone. No way that just happened, did it? Sasuke thought, surprised and shocked. Naruto was about to address him until "Quiet fool," Master Zen whispered. That's right, Master Zen doesn't want anybody to know he had any link to training me. Who the hell are you? Sasuke asked aloud, upset. You are interfering in our fight. I just happen to be one that has direct link to the Hokage himself, and seeing both of you fight like this is not acceptable. Master Zen said in his act. You two are to become Leaf Ninja comrades, and here you two are about to kill each other. So what are you going to do, rat us out to the Hokage? Sasuke asked. No. I will let you two get away with this once, but be warned, if I so much as learn or see you both attempt this again, you can both be sure the third will be the first to know. Sorry. Naruto said, going with the act, giving a slight bow. Now the both of you go about your daily activities or to your homes and don't even think about trying to sneak off to fight again. You both have a big day tomorrow and I am sure you wouldn't want to attend your final exam black and blue. Now off with the both of you separately. Both Naruto and Sasuke go their separate ways as there were other paths into this field to the village, only being longer paths. Master Zen watched Sasuke's retreating back. He is as good as they say, the third was not kidding. Master Zen then looked to Naruto's retreating back and vanished. As Sasuke was walking upon his path, he couldn't get it out of his head how Master Zen simply stopped his jutsu. What just happened back there? He made my jutsu look like it was nothing. It was the best jutsu I have in my arsenal so far. This made Sasuke furious as it made him think if his fireball was able to be so easily defeated like that, then how was it supposed to stand up to his older brother, who he has sworn to kill? And just what was Naruto about to do? In fact, how in the hell did Naruto improve so much in such a short amount of time? He is stronger than he was before, faster, more accurate and precise. He is not the same as he was before. He's different. Sasuke stopped in his tracks, bringing up his right hand, looking upon it, that ball into a fist, with his Sharingan eyes glaring. If Naruto was able to catch up like this to me, then I need to increase my training, get stronger and leave him in the dust behind where he belongs. Next time Naruto I will beat, and you can be sure about that. Meanwhile, with Naruto on his own path, not bad at all. Naruto stopped in his tracks, turning to the now unheaded Master Zen, who was leaning against the bark of a tree. Why did you stop us? Were you aware that your academy teacher, Haruka, was following the two of you? Haruka-sensei? No, I didn't. Where is he now? Did he see me and Sasuke fight? I took care of him, so you don't have to worry about that. Took care of him? No harm done. In fact, Haruka right now was sitting within the chair behind his desk with his face upon, looking as if he fell asleep there. Let us talk about your fight with Sasuke. Okay? How do you believe that fight would have turned out if I had not interfered? Well, I can't really say since you stopped it. Who do you believe would have won if I had not intervened? You or Sasuke? I am not sure. Do you want to know? You knew who was going to win. Not precisely, but I did know the outcome of whose technique would have prevailed in the results. What then? You are still in training Naruto as well as in the department of Kai control, and when you were about to use your Kai blast upon him, you unknowingly put in too much. I did? Naruto asked confused. Sasuke's fireball jutsu would have been defeated, but had your attack had hit Sasuke, the results possibly would have put him in the hospital or worse. Are you saying that I could have killed Sasuke had you not stopped us? Possibly. Oh man, Naruto said shocked. But I would have won. Now let's not be too hasty now, for all you know Sasuke could have evaded your attack like he did your kick, remember? That's right, he probably would have. But the real question is, have I surpassed Sasuke? I can't tell you that, but something tells me that one day you will know for sure. And when will that day be? Patience, Naruto, patience. Patience is a virtue after all. You will have your fight with Sasuke one day, and it is then when you will know for sure, only don't take it so far as to kill him. I don't ever plan on killing him, I just want to kick his ass and show him that I am top dog. Naruto said with a smile. But until then, I will be patient. Naruto said, lowering his head a little. Also, since you don't seem to have Ukai control mastered, you are still in training, I will not teach you any other techniques until you have some control, is that understood? I understand, Master Zen. Naruto suddenly felt Master Zen's head placed upon his head, ruffling his Goku-style hair, with Naruto looking up to him with his eyes wearing a smile, and Master Zen looking upon Naruto with a smile of his own. Naruto, you may not know it, but you are destined for great things. What if Naruto has inheritance and legacy in Dragon Ball? Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.